Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bud Herzog Stadium. The setting tonight for the Lee Summit Tigers taking on the Staley Falcons. The Falcons are 2-0 this year. Tigers 1-1, coming off of a resounding win against the Belton Pirates in week number 2. We'll see if they're able to keep up their high-scoring clip now in week number 3.
But first, before we get into the action, a quick word from our sponsors.
Today is a new day. A day we've been waiting for our whole lives. We've put in the work to get to this moment, to have this opportunity to come together as a team. Everyone knows KC is on the rise, but what they don't know is we're just getting started. Community America, powering the rise of Kansas City.
Gear up for back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
When it comes to SUVs, nothing beats Honda. U.S. News & World Report's best SUV brand 4 years in a row, including the 2019 Honda Pilot, one of the millions of Hondas built here in America since 1982. Or the 2019 CR-V, a crossover car and driver calls a better value than the RAV4. And right now, get Pilot with 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. For more offers, visit kchondadealers.com today.
Core Civic is proud to support Lansing Athletics. Core Civic is America's leader in partnership corrections, operating over 60 facilities in nearly half of all states. Learn more about Core Civic job opportunities at corecivic.com. You can apply for a rewarding position as a correctional officer, a nurse, or a school teacher, just to name a few. Your next career could be in corrections with Core Civic. Visit corecivic.com. That's corecivic.com.
Welcome back to TBTV8's coverage of the Lee Summit Tigers against the Staley Falcons here in week number 3 of high school football. Kyle, what are some things you'd like to see repeated in week number 3 that we saw the Tigers do in week number 2 away against Belton?
Well, first and foremost, the Tigers had a great offensive performance led by Darius Pearsall, the quarterback, who is a leader for the team. He did great last game, had several passes and several rushes for a lot of yards and some good touchdowns. Now, we obviously would like a good offensive performance, but shifting sides of the ball to the defensive line, they will be instrumental into winning the game tonight. Tigers are taking the field currently, and if the defensive line can give Staley no run game, then we're going to see a good battle between these highly ranked teams.
That's exactly right, Kyle. We did see a big week out of Darius Pearsall last week, as well as the receiving and running back core. Last week, we saw Micah Manning have an incredible game. This year, he's already tallied up 136 yards on only 14 carries. So he's averaging about 68 yards a game. That's impressive stats coming from a high schooler only 2 weeks into the season.
That's true. Kai Espino has been simply fantastic, and on all cylinders, the offense has really been firing for the Tigers. They have great weapons in Micah Manning and Landon Willis at the receiving position, and then they, of course, have Ty Pino at the running back. So if the offense can get going, I think it's going to be hard for even the Staley defense to stop them.
So we'll take a quick turn down to the field here. The Tigers now coming out onto the field. They will soon be met by a very loud scream coming from the Lee Summit student section. A big helping hand in all home games that they have, including the away games. So we'll see if they're able to use that home field advantage tonight in the all-black uniforms against the tough opponent in the Staley Falcons.
That's true. You can't underestimate the impact of a loud crowd has on the team. Staley booing the Tigers as they take the field there. The opponent's loud crowd here in strong numbers, but I was talking to some of the loud crowd members from last game. They were saying they were getting so bored after the big blowout from the Tigers. They started playing limbo in the stands. Hopefully it won't be that boring tonight for us as well as you viewers at home, but we will see.
Well, and you can never complain about a big victory like that. Last weekend, the Tigers managing to pull off a 57-13 score away against the Belton Pirates. So we'll see if they are again able to put up a high output of offense. Kyle, do you expect to see the offense coming out firing as they did in the last game? And what do you think we're going to be seeing from the defense tonight of the Lee Summit Tigers?
Well, for the offense, I would obviously see a good offensive performance tonight. I think they can easily put up a lot of touchdowns. The Staley defense is, well, that's why they're the 5th-ranked team in the state. But Darius Pearsall and the weapons he has, multiple D1 players on the team. If the offense can get rolling, there's not going to be a whole lot stopping them. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Dawson Park's a great quarterback for Staley, but he has had 2 interceptions on the season already. So I'm going to predict that if the defense can pick off or create some fumbles, then the defense is going to turn the tides for the Tigers, and the offense will have a chance to score some touchdowns.
A very valid point there. The Tigers managing to force several turnovers as we hear a loud boom from the Staley student section. A long drive from Staley, and they have come out here in large numbers to support their Falcons here in the black and white uniforms. We'll turn down to the center of the field for the presentation of our colors and the singing of our national anthem.
Teacher and coach for LSHS School District. Scott passed away unexpectedly 3 years ago. Our seniors were freshmen at the time, and Scott was their head coach. These young men on the field may have lost their coach, but they also gained so much from him. He was an inspiration to his students and players. Scott loved the game of football and was passionate about coaching the players on valuable life lessons. As these players release the balloons, please take a moment to remember this amazing man and what he's done for our community. Scott will forever be linked to our Tiger football family. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. The colors tonight are being presented by Lee Summit High School Air Force Junior ROTC Color Guard, and the national anthem will be sung by LSHS senior Zaria Jackson. We'll find out when I start talking. You're looking at a good version of review. Yelp review is what it is.
Tonight will no doubt be an emotional game for the Tigers. They are remembering Scott Wilkinson, longtime coach for the Tigers and teacher in the school district. Had an impact on a lot of students' lives here in the school district, and we lost him just a couple of short years ago. So tonight, an emotional game and a lot to play for Lee Summit. We'll see how they play in the circumstances here, remembering their former coach.
Several seniors had quotes to say. Jackson Fry noted that he made him feel welcome into the program. Michael Garozzo noted him as a hard worker. And Tyler Terrence remembers a quote where he said, "A selfish player gets nowhere, but a selfless player can go and accomplish their goals."
Mr. Wilkinson was a very nice man, a great teacher, and a great football coach, and he is missed throughout this entire school district, and especially here at Lee Summit, where he was the football coach. Tonight, the Tigers look to take on the Staley Falcons. The Falcons 2-0 this year. The Tigers 1-1, a tough loss against Liberty in week number 1. The offense was a little stagnant at the beginning of the game, but since the fourth quarter in that one, the offense has not struggled to get any yards, get points on the board. And the same thing for the defense. They've been putting points up on the board themselves and keeping the other team off of the scoreboard. Kyle, which side of the ball is the key tonight, in your opinion, for the Lee Summit Tigers?
Well, Jordan, they say defense wins championships, and it's for a reason that defense is the reason that we will win this game if we do end up winning it. The defense will create turnovers, as you said, in the game against Belton. Lawan Miller had a pick 6, and several others got a pick 6 for a touchdown. Belton is a different opponent than the one we're facing tonight in Staley. Staley is a tougher opponent, and if the Tigers expect to win, their defense is going to have to show up and possibly get some turnovers.
So we'll see if the Tigers' defense is able to show up tonight. You can't rely on just one side of the football to win games, as Kyle said. So we'll see if the Tigers can get it firing from both sides early. So now the team's captains will take the center of the field here. We'll decide who's kicking, who's receiving, which sides of the field we are defending, and then we'll get started here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's officials, referee Gene Military, umpire Jason Hill, line judge Dan Nadola, linesman Jonathan Thurston, back judge Aaron Johnson.
So Kyle, the majority of the Lee Summit Tigers' first unit is made up of seniors, but you can't rely on the same group of guys to play forever. Last weekend in the rout against Belton, we saw the Tigers use their second unit. What did you think of the second unit there in their first appearance on the varsity squad?
I saw a lot of great things from the second unit. A lot of big guys stepped up. Tommy Locke, the quarterback, was able to go out and make some plays. He shows a bright future for the Tigers as he will head into his senior year next year. It also shows Austin Robb, a player on defense, had a good tackle in too. So I don't know if we'll see a lot of the second squad tonight as we face a tougher opponent, but if we do, I have confidence that the Tigers' second team will be able to get the job done.
And just further confirmation that this Tigers football team is in good hands in the future. Several Division I talents here on the Lee Summit roster this year, and it looks like maybe we could see some in the future. Tommy Locke, of course, the cousin of Drew Locke, slings it, hopefully like his cousin in the future. Tommy Locke, 2 for 2 in his first appearance on the varsity squad last week. A rushing touchdown in there as well, and a passing touchdown that was taken away because of a penalty. That was a back foot throw, coverage on him, into coverage up near the end zone, gunslinging about 40 yards. And again, unfortunately, because of penalties, it was taken away. So again, you don't want to hope that we have to see the second unit out there. But if we do, again, the Tigers are in good hands.
Yeah, it's never easy for a quarterback to throw off his back foot and into the wind, but if you see right now, the loud crowd is getting into the game. It's neon night and the crowds are packed. You can't see the Staley loud crowd, but they are fairly packed as well. Staley, it's quite a drive, and for them to have a good showing tonight, it is impressive to say the least.
So we'll see the teams take the field for the first time tonight. The Tigers kicking it away to start things off. 12 minutes on the play clock, and we will get rolling here shortly. Kyle, you mentioned the neon theme. It's not only the sun that we're fighting against this evening, we are also fighting against the bright lights coming over from the Lee Summit side of things. Oh, no, those are just shirts, sorry. But it is an extra thing to look out for here in this one. If you're confused why your screen is so bright, it's because of that loud crowd in that student section there in the Lee Summit corner. So Troy Huffman will step up to the ball now to get things started here for the Tigers. And a psych out from Troy Huffman there. I'm not sure that serves any tactical advantage. Maybe a little miscue there from the referees. And once again, Huffman will line up, getting ready to kick it away. The Staley loud crowd getting into it here already. And now we are underway here from Bud Herzog Stadium. Ball picked up back at about the 8-yard line by Devin Brooks. He's still on his feet, pushing out to the left-hand side. He's at the 30, and finally will be taken down at the 40-yard line. So Staley with a little bit of juice in their veins here, starting things off early. Ball on the 40-yard line of the Staley Falcons.
Kind of got shoved out by his own teammate there. Several missed tackles, which is not the way you want to start the game, but the defense has been fairly dominant these past seasons, so we'll see if they can get it going early against Staley.
So again, the first opportunity now to take a look at the Lee Summit Tigers defensive unit here tonight. The Staley offense led tonight, of course, by number 12, Dawson Parks. Carry there by number 5, Dermont Marshall, not getting much out of it. So the Tigers last week were able to stop the run against Belton a lot, and already getting off to a hot start. Kaya Tupino in on the tackle. So a 2nd and 9 for the Falcons. Dropping back now is Parks under pressure, and he will be wrapped up and brought down. So the Tigers there, Trey Wheat on the tackle, and a sack for the Tigers.
We talked a lot about their defensive line coming into the game, and wow, they look dominant starting off. A sack by Trey Wheat, always good in the stat box to get one of those.
So the ball pushed back even further now, and the Tigers have already forced a 3rd and 14 situation. A snap, and Parks will try to take it himself, and there's the Tigers' defensive line to meet him. They'll push him all the way back again behind the line of scrimmage. Dawson Parks tries to take it himself. It doesn't work out. And the Staley Falcons already facing a 4th and 14. But a flag down. So the referee's discussing things here. And the ball will be brought forward a couple of yards. Back up to the 36. And the penalty will be declined. So it is still 4th and 14. We'll see the punting unit out for the first time here tonight. Landon Willis back, the speedy returner for the Tigers. A couple of kick returns in his career for the Tigers. So we'll see what he's got in store here, trying to put the ball in good fielding position here for Lee Summit as they look to start their first offensive set. So the punter back is quarterback Dawson Parks. He'll boot it off, and Landon Willis will catch it at about the 25. He's got space on the right-hand side. He's already passed the 40 to the 50 and pushed out of bounds at about the 48-yard line on the Staley side of things. So the Tigers now in good field position to start things off tonight.
Well, in Belton the entire first half, they didn't have a drive that didn't start behind their 50-yard line. So it's good that they get great field position here, and we'll see what happens. Last week, they did not disappoint, scoring on their first down with a touchdown. We'll see if they can replicate the same performance tonight, again facing a different defense. Belton and Staley, the difference there is definitely dramatic, but we'll see what they can do.
So Darius Pearsall marches out onto the field for the first time tonight. Missouri State commit. Only man in the backfield is Pearsall. The snap, he looks over to his right-hand side. He's got a man. It is caught. Immediately a tackle there, but it's Ryan Belt getting things started for the Tigers. So the offense already firing here as we begin tonight's ball game.
Ryan Belt absolutely drilled there by number 7 for the Staley Falcons. That was a form tackle, and that's what their coach wants to see.
Kendrick Stone on the tackle for the Falcons. Again, Pearsall hands it off this time to Micah Manning. On the right-hand side, he is brought down. So not a very large run there for Micah, and the Tigers will have to restart now for third down.
It looked like Pearsall there wanted to hang on, but Micah kind of ripped it out of his hands there. Maybe a miscommunication, but either way, they didn't lose or fumble the ball, so it's all good.
3rd and 4 now for the Tigers. Pearsall comes up, gives orders to his offensive line, and backs up once again. Manning behind him in the backfield. The snap, Pearsall drops back, looks to pass, feeling pressure, runs onto the left-hand side. He's got space that way. He's got the first down and then some. He's going to get it this one all the way inside the 20 and run it out of bounds at the 19. So Darius Pearsall feeling pressure there, but doesn't look like it. A flag down on the play. It will be holding on the offense. So a break there for the Staley defense.
If not for that holding, that would have been a big first down, and they would have been red zone territory. One thing we've seen from the Tigers this season is that when they're in the red zone, they are bound to score. So this penalty definitely saved the Falcons on this drive. We'll see if they can take advantage of, or if Pearsall can pull something out of his bag of tricks and get the first down.
Always a good thing to have a dual threat quarterback at this level, or at any level for that matter. Darius Pearsall certainly has that in his bag. But now a little bit of adversity here early for the Tigers as the Staley Falcons offense faced. It'll be 3rd and 19, the ball backed all the way up to the Tigers' 43-yard line. So Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield here, likely looking to pass. He's got 4 receivers on the field for him. The snap, Pearsall looks to his left, throws it that way. He's got a man downfield. That's Nate Morse, and he drops it. A great effort there from Nate Morse, but it's just out of reach there. He gets his fingertips on it, and that's all. Unable to hold on there. So it'll be 4th and 19 for the Tigers.
That's an unlikely drop from Nate Morse. You usually don't see that out of him. He had a great first game against Liberty, and we haven't seen a whole lot of him. But again, on this offense, it's hard to pass the ball around to everyone when you have so many weapons. So you're not going to see that a lot out of Nate Morse, and unfortunately there he dropped that one to force the punt for the Tigers.
So we'll see Caio Tupino for the first time tonight, standing back at the 30-yard line, ready to receive the ball and punt it away. The returner for the Falcons will be David Brooks. The ball's up in the air. Brooks got it at the 20-yard line. He's going to run it up the middle, and he started things off tonight with a big kick return, and he will get a punt return there for about 15. So the ball on the 34-yard line, and Brooks sets the Falcons up for their second try at things on the offensive side of the ball.
Micah Manning and Brennan Klaus together, they kind of tore him to the ground. It's been a weird special teams. Both teams have gotten great returns, and another good field position starting for the Falcons.
So Dawson Parks once again will take another try at it here. A handoff to his running back, a run up the middle there from Mylan Mitchell, and he is brought down.
Ball carrier was number 6, Mylan Mitchell.
Looked like Lawan Miller and Caio Tupino on the tackle there.
Tackle was made by
So the
number
Tigers
53,
now
Tyler Terry.
looking at a 2nd and 7 on the defensive side of the ball. So again, Dawson Parks in the backfield. He's got Mylan Mitchell behind him. Tigers defensive line a little jumpy there. That looked like Michael Garozzo. No flag on the play. So Dawson Parks steps back, retries here. A handoff this time to Mitchell up the middle again. And a decent run from Mitchell as he gets the ball to the 41.
It's a good run by the Staley Falcons, looking like they might have found their groove in the run game here. And they're going to need to if they can open up the pass game and possibly crack this defense, which seems so far to haven't been able to be cracked by any offense so far they've faced.
So it's Parks, Mitchell, and Joey Deringer in the backfield. The handoff goes to Mitchell on the left-hand side. He's got a first down and will be pushed out of bounds at about the 47-yard line.
They seem to be liking that left side. Michael Garozzo is going to be the defensive end on that side. We'll see if he can produce something. He's a good tackler. Last season he had a little over 67 tackles. It's tied for the second most, except for Felix Anyudike, who is out tonight.
So Parks with a man in motion here. Him and Mitchell, the only men in the backfield. He steps back to pass, looks to the right-hand side. It's caught, and the ball's down on the ground, but it's as he hits the ground. It's Raymond Shelton there on the catch, and the slippery Shelton will be tackled at the 33-yard line. So 7:53 to go here, and the Tigers defense now getting backed up a little further and further here by this Staley offense.
It's got to be distressing if you're the defense. They really haven't had an answer so far. We'll see if Parks can make another good pass or hand it off.
So the handoff will go up the middle, and the Falcons won't get much out of it there. Marshall rather. He will be taken down, and it will be 2nd and 7. So the ball on the 30-yard line now. The Staley student section smelling blood here, hoping their offense can keep pushing this Tiger defense back and ultimately put some points on the board. Parks the fake handoff. He's feeling pressure already, and Michael Garozzo with a big sack in the backfield.
Michael had 3 of those last year and 1 right there. It's going to be critical for the Tigers to get the stop. Takes them out of field goal range. That was a big play by Michael Garozzo, and it's necessary and needed if they expect the Tigers to not, or the Falcons to not get some points on the board in this drive.
So now 3rd and 17, the ball on the Tigers' 40-yard line. Falcons need a big play here in order to put some more fear into this Tigers defense. Parks drops back to pass again. He's got a man on the left-hand side, but he overthrows him, and no one will get there from either the Falcons or the Tigers. So now on 4th and 17, likely the Falcons will go ahead and punt here away to Landon Willis.
Yeah, what you saw right there is Dawson Parks. When he gets rushed in the pocket, gets kind of flustered. He sometimes overthrows the ball. He's had 2 interceptions this year. Unfortunately, it was even out of reach for the Tigers to get, so he's going to need to nip that in the bud if he doesn't want to create some turnovers and possibly give the Tigers a chance to score on defense.
So Parks, a multi-position player here. We'll see him drop back to punt here. Landon Willis will have to back all the way up to his own 10 here, ready to receive the punt. He will call for a fair catch and grab it at about the 11-yard line. So the Tigers backed up all the way to the 11. We'll see here if they can push it all the way to the other side of the field and maybe put some points up on the board for themselves. The Tigers defense there doing a good job to show some resilience and push this Falcons team hopefully to the other side of the field.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jordan. And the Staley offensive line is going to need to have an answer for defensive ends LaJuan Miller and Michael Garozzo, who are going to be tearing up that offensive line all night. And if the running backs can't block them in the offensive line, then that quarterback, Dawson Parks, is going to receive some punishment. And if he does, he's probably going to create some turnovers as he has already during this game. So hopefully that offensive line can get it together. But so far, most teams we've seen the Tigers face haven't seemed to have an answer for the defensive rush, even with their star player Felix Anyudike out with an MCL sprain. We'll see if the defensive line can be stopped by the offensive line. That's going to be a battle for tonight.
We saw a great effort from the Tigers on the run game last week against Belton, not allowing much in that front, and they've already looked pretty resilient to it here tonight. Only 1 first down coming via the run game. So again, Pearsall will march out onto the field, and this stacked Tigers offense looks to push the ball to the other side, maybe get to field goal range, or put 6 up to start this game. We've got 6:30 left on the play clock. Ball back on the Tigers' own 11, so Pearsall here with the back against the wall. We'll see how he's able to react here and get this Tigers offense going. Ryan Belt in motion. Fake handoff to him. Pearsall's got Micah Manning downfield. It's tipped, and that would have been a huge play for the Tigers. But a great effort from the Falcons secondary there to knock it dead.
Pearsall underthrew him a little. Micah, if he would have had that, it would have been off to the races. The man is fast, and we've seen that before in games. Pearsall just underthrew him a little there.
tough pass there, being able to thread that needle. Almost completes it, just not quite. So Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. 3 receiver options for the Tigers. Ball still on the 11-yard line. Manning in motion. He'll go out and be a 4th option for the Tigers. Pearsall now fumbles the ball, but it looked like he's able to jump on it immediately. So this Tigers offense is already feeling the pressure there from Braden Robertson. Pearsall with his first fumble of the season. Good sign there that he's able to pick it up and keep moving for the Tigers. Ball now pushed back to the 5-yard line. 3rd and 16 for Lee Summit. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Klaus, Morse, Belt on the right-hand side. Now Manning in motion to the left. Pearsall takes it himself, running to the right-hand side, but he's brought down pretty quickly there by David Lewis.
Falcons defense looks pretty good out there with Braden Robertson getting that sack on Darius Pearsall. That was a critical sack. If he did not get that, I could have envisioned Tigers maybe running for that 3rd down game, but unfortunately he just had to settle for 8 yards and 4th and 9. It's going to be a long punt. Hopefully they can get it down the field. Kai Tapino back in the backfield.
So Tapino with his back against his own end zone here. Catches the snap and boots it downfield, that big goalkeeper leg, and a fair catch called right at about the 50-yard line, maybe the 49 of the Falcons. So Staley from the 50 has 5 minutes and 7 seconds left here in this first quarter to try to put some points up on the board.
We'll see if Dawson Parks can get something going. Offensive line going to need to step up. We'll see if the Tigers secondary can stop Parks' air raid as he was kind of slashing through the secondary in the last drive. We'll see what they have game planned up here.
We saw Ramon Shelton get targeted a couple times in the last drive. A big gain getting the ball to the Tigers side of things last time. A handoff goes up the middle there, and not much coming out of it from Mylan Mitchell. So the ball stopped dead right about at the line of scrimmage.
And not a whole gain there, and kind of a waste of a downs. We'll see. Parks getting the play call right now. He's got his man Marshall in the backfield in motion, number 24, as he takes the snap.
So again, looks to pass over to the right-hand side. It's caught by Ramon Shelton, and a 1st down there for the Falcons. We'll see Ramon Shelton get targeted several times tonight. He's run the ball a couple times for the Falcons, but is known best for his receiving efforts. He's had 17 receptions already this year for 283 yards. So again, Staley steps up to the line. Parks in the backfield. Handoff. Goes to Marshall to the left-hand side, and he's brought down after a gain of about 4.
That was a good effort by Lawan Miller to get back behind the offensive line and bring him down. It was a good effort by the Tigers. But again, the air raid from Dawson Parks seems to be just throwing some simple posts, in routes, and getting some good yardage from that, as you see his 1st down on the drive right there.
Parks again in the backfield. He's got Shelton. He throws a little screen pass, but it'll be stopped very quickly by Michael Garozzo. Throws his hands up in the air in celebration. Says something to the Falcons sideline. And with 3:40 left, the Falcons will have to try again from the 38.
Yeah, Michael Garozzo and Alexander Barnett. Great tag team there to bring down big man Shelton Richardson. He's going to definitely be the one they're going to possibly double team in tonight's game, as he has had 2 great games against Kearney and the Staley's opponents.
Man in motion for Staley here. And the pass is blotted down by the Tigers. That looked like Max Weisner there, the 6'5 lineman. So Max Weisner there makes it 4th down for Staley. So the Tigers, again, even in their own half of the field, able to stop this Staley offense.
That's exactly right. Just a wonderful effort there by number 86. He's really able to bring him to the ground. He's big man, 6'6", Max Weisner. Not an easy guy to stop, and as you saw there, he just shredded through the offensive line.
So we'll see Parks now ready to punt. He's standing about his own 48-yard line. He boots it away to Landon Willis. Willis doesn't signal for the fair catch, catches it about the 13-yard line. and he won't get much out of it as he gets it to about the 16. So again, the Tigers with their backs against the wall as they look to start another drive.
Landon Willis, that was a bit of a dangerous play by him. Probably should have just gone with the fair catch or drop it. Maybe it could have dropped into the end zone, but not very long punts by Staley so far. Tigers offense going to set up shop, see what they can do, backed up in their own yard.
So once again, the fearless leader for this Tigers offense, Darius Pearsall, looks to lead the Tigers down the field. Pearsall having a big year already in his senior season. The handoff goes to Micah Manning. He's on the right-hand side. He's pretty quick. He's got room here to this right-hand side, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 27. So it'll be about second and 1. And the Tigers, again, in their classic hurry-up offense here. Ball in the 28 for the Tigers. Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield, looks to his left-hand side. He's got Klaus over the middle, who will be brought down, and a first down for the Tigers.
Landon Shepard right there. I mean, he's a great guy, and he's been doing well for the Tigers. He's definitely an underrated wide receiver. I don't know if Staley game plan for him, but they're going to need to stop him because he's just yet another weapon in Pearsall's tool to pull out and use at any moment he wants.
Shepard had a big game in week 1 against Liberty. We'll see if he's able to reproduce here. Pearsall in the backfield, snaps a little wide. He throws a screen pass to Nate Morse. Morse will be brought down immediately. So a great play recognition there from Hayden Gregg. And now the Tigers will have 2nd and 8.
That was wonderful recognition by Darius Pearsall. He was about to go down and turn what could have been a 5-7 yard loss into a 2-yard gain. That's what you want to see your quarterback do.
So Pearsall steps up to the line, tells some instructions to his offensive line, steps back. Again, Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Pearsall looks over to the left-hand side. He's got a man downfield. No, he throws it away. So it'll be 3rd and 8 from the 34. 2 minutes and 4 seconds remaining here in the first. Still 0-0, but this has been a tight game. This Tigers defense has looked solid. The Staley offense has looked good as well. And we'll see how each team reacts now to the stalemate that we've had unfolding early on.
It'll be interesting to see if the Tiger offense can get their air attack going. They had a great pass by Darius Pearsall on their first drive, but other than that, not a whole lot. We'll see if they can spark some influence with all the weapons they have.
Pearsall in the backfield looks to pass again. He's got a man downfield. That's Nate Morse. And it looked like some extracurricular activity there, and it was a flag down on the interception. Dermont Marshall, we've said his name already as he had a sack and a forced fumble earlier on. A flag is down on the play.
Marshall looking like, did he get that flag? But it was so obvious. Nate Morse is a guy who can go up and catch the ball from anywhere. Marshall probably recognized that and decided to bat him away last second. That's going to be a huge gain for the Tigers, and it'll be good because if Marshall didn't commit that foul, I have no doubt Nate would have climbed the ladder, gone up there, and brought it to the ground for a great play. But still good to see the drive alive for the Tigers as they hope to get a first down.
And, of course, the Staley fans here unhappy with the call, yelling some expletives at the ref. And the Tigers will set up here once again. 3rd and 8. The Tigers will replay 3rd down here.
They're going to be moving the chains for the Tigers as a first down.
My apologies there. The ball will be moved up to the 49-yard line of the Tigers, so the offense here having some early success in this drive. 1st and 10. Still a minute and 58 remaining here in the first quarter. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Handoff goes to Manning. He's got space on the right-hand side. Breaks all the way through to the 40 and is brought down at about the 38-yard line. So a great run by Manning and a big burst of speed as the Tigers offense now has broken into the Staley side of the field.
Micah Manning got some great speed on that sideline, was able to pick up a necessary first down as the Tigers approach the end zone.
Tigers rolling now. Pearsall in the backfield. He's got Shepard over the middle and hits him again. Jonah Dittmer there losing his helmet. But on the play, Landon Shepard makes it 2nd and 5 for the Tigers. Ball on the 33-yard line. Time clock ticking down at about 1:35 now. Pearsall receiving instructions from his sideline. He's got Manning in the backfield and 4 other receivers. A lot of options for this Tigers offense here. Pearsall rolls out to the left-hand side. He's looking way downfield. He throws it over to the left-hand side. Morse runs over there, and a flag down. Nick Wright standing with his hands on his helmet there as a flag called on him there.
Penalty is a face mask against
A face mask there for the Tigers as they will catch another break.
It's going to be penalties are killing the Falcons right now. So far on defense, they've been fairly solid, but a pass interference and now a face mask has been able to keep the drive alive for the Tigers as they will again start with another first down.
That's always frustrating. The refs on the bad side already of the Falcons sideline and fans. Sun finally setting here on Bud Herzog Stadium. 1:23 on the clock. Pearsall and Manning, the lone men in the backfield. 1st and 10 for the Tigers, thanks to the penalty. Manning moves to the left-hand side. Pearsall in the backfield. This time we'll run it up the middle after feeling the pressure, and he's going to dive for about a 7-yard gain there.
It's Braden Robertson again with the tackle. Darius recognized not getting much out to the wide receivers, so he decided to take that run. Good recognition by Pearsall, and it keeps the yards moving.
We've already seen a couple of plays from Pearsall tonight where he's had to make quick reads, and he's done so. Handoff to Micah Manning this time. He tries to get it up the middle, but he's met by the Staley Falcons line, and doesn't look like he got the first down there as he's brought down right around the line of scrimmage.
This is going to be a fairly critical 3rd yard for the Tigers to gain if they expect to get that touchdown, which they need. Number 34 coming onto the field, Max Wisener also stepping up. Maybe the Tigers getting some trickery in here as they hope to pick up this first down. Darius getting the play call and going to the line.
Time clock ticking down now to about 20 seconds. The Tigers feeling a little bit of a sense of urgency here. Pearsall fakes a handoff there. He's got pressure again. This Staley defense is relentless. He rolls out to the left-hand side, gives a little head fake, and is brought down after a gain of about 1. So the play clock has stopped at 8.6.
One could look at that play and say, dang, he didn't pick up the first down, but what I saw was a spin move out by Pearsall was to avoid the sack, ended up getting a few yards, only 3 to go. It'll be interesting. The offense is staying out there. It looks like the Tigers might be wanting that 6 instead of the 3.
Knocking on the door of the red zone is the Tigers here. 4th and 3. They'll keep the offensive unit out there. Ball on the 21. 8.6 to go here in the first quarter. After that, we will switch sides here and see if the Tigers can punch one in, but they'll look to do so here before time expires here early. Pearsall keeps it himself, goes to the left-hand side. A flag is down, but Pearsall is into the end zone for the Tigers, and it's 6-0 if the penalty doesn't say no.
Several players on the Staley Falcons sideline, and the coach himself is pointing like it's going to come back. If not, that was a great read by Pearsall. It looks to be holding against the Tigers. Unfortunately, it will be brought back, but it does keep 4th down alive. They might punt it away or possibly kick a field goal. It might be out of the range, though.
So now only 2.6 left on the play clock. Clock obviously stopped after the penalty flag there. Tigers will have to march back a little further. And it looks like they will still go for things. I don't see the punting unit coming out onto the field. So Pearsall in the backfield. And 4th and 18 is the number for the Tigers that they've got to hit. Pearsall still standing out onto the field. A little bit of confusion, and they will bring the punting unit out on the field for the Tigers.
They do bring the punting unit back out. A disappointing holding call, because if that wasn't, it was going to be 6 points, but looks like Cayetano will give that good goalkeeper kick away, hopefully pin it inside the 5 for the Tigers.
So no punt returner back for this Falcons defense. Tapino kicks it up, and it will drop down, and a friendly bounce keeps it at about the 14 as it falls dead, and the Tigers will end it 0-0 here in the first quarter. We'll take a brief pause here and listen to a word from our sponsors.
When it comes to SUVs, nothing beats Honda. U.S. News & World Report's best SUV brand 4 years in a row, including the 2019 Honda Pilot, one of the millions of Hondas built here in America since 1982. Or the 2019 CR-V, a crossover car and driver calls a better value than the RAV4. And right now, get Pilot with 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. For more offers,
Welcome back to Bud Herzog Stadium. I'm Jordan Wood, joined by Kyle Cumberland, Josh Walker running the camera and graphics for us tonight, doing a great job making sure this ship here in the broadcast booth is kept afloat. Kyle, we saw a scoreless first quarter from both teams. How do you think they'll react here coming into the second?
Well, I was surprised, but I also wasn't. The offenses for both of these teams are extremely dominant, but the defenses are just as good. And the defensive line for both teams have been able to stay solid, and Tigers and the Falcons haven't been able to do much.
So Dawson Parks here gets us kicked off for the second quarter. Parks fakes actually will hand it off. Great deception there, confused me even up in the broadcast booth, but it's cut out pretty early. Didn't confuse the Tigers. And the ball will be on the 14-yard line. So Parks looks over to get a little bit of instruction from his sideline. This Tigers defense has done a good job so far of limiting damage here from this lethal Staley Falcons offense. Fake hand, no, a real handoff again. Goes to Parks, but a flag down on the play. Not the first time we've said that tonight. A lot of penalties thrown down so far. Grozo with the tackle. We'll see what the flag is.
It will be on the Tigers. I'm not sure what the call was there. Some are saying holding, but others are still unsure. Either way, the Falcons going to pick up some yards here. Staley's student section is now screaming, "What is that?" as even they are in confusion, looking for some answers, but there are none to be found.
So the Tigers defense still in a huddle. The Staley offense looks ready to attack here again. And now the ball will be marched up the field, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Falcons. So no longer is the ball on the 14-yard line, just getting things kicked off here in the second quarter. 11:22 on the play clock. Ball on the 30-yard line now for the Falcons. Man in motion for the Falcons. Parks drops back to pass. He's got a man over the middle, and it will be deflected and dropped dead.
Man, slow to get up on the field for the Falcons. It looks as if the student section and the Falcons coaching staff was looking for a call there, but they would get none, and Falcons are going to have to deal with the 2nd and 10.
Ramon Shelton was the man a little shaken up on the play. He's a big part of this Falcons offense. They can't have him being injured. Already 17 receptions on the year with 283 yards, and he will indeed stay out on the field. Maybe playing possum there, hoping for a penalty called after the play. Regardless, it is 2nd and 10 for the Falcons. Snap here, Parks fakes a handoff. He will go to Shelton here on the first pass, and he's hit there in WWE fashion. A clothesline, he dropped the ball, but it's jumped on by the Falcons early.
Falcons student section is cheering, but absolutely gets lit up and driven back into the ground. Joey Deeringer caused some confusion as he went in motion early in the snap. Tigers defense so far hasn't looked too wonderful as far as their secondary goes, but their defensive line has certainly been unquestionably amazing.
We have seen them struggle a little bit when the ball is on the Falcons side of the field, but once it gets to Tiger territory, they've done all right. Handoff here to the left-hand side, and Marwin Kirkwood is brought down very quickly.
Tackled by number 21, Thomas Smith.
Correction, David Brooks on the carry there. He'll jog off to the sideline, and 2nd and 11 will be the spotting here. Ball on the 40-yard line still, 10:23 left to play. Parks with a man in the backfield. Fakes a handoff, rolls out to his left. Fakes a pass here. There's pressure from the Tigers defense. Looks downfield. It's tipped by Shelton in nearly a one-handed grab, but the play will fall dead once again. So 3rd and 11. Ball still on the 40. 10:10 left on the clock. Great coverage there by Landon Willis to force an awkward attempt there from the Falcons receiver.
A.J. Matlin looked to be the intended receiver, but again, number 1, Shelton, just put his hand up and accidentally deflected it on his own team. That's not what you want to see, especially when that could have been potential 30, 40, or even a touchdown for the Falcons.
So again, good job by the Tigers secondary there to cause a little bit of confusion. 3rd and 11, 10-10 left on the play clock. Man in motion, Parks will take it himself, tries to get it up the middle, but he's brought down at the line of scrimmage. So we talked about how last week these Tigers were able to cut down on the run game, and they've done that so here tonight.
Interesting play call, though, by the Falcons to go ahead and run it when they haven't had much success there on a 3rd and 11. It's going to bring up the 4th and 9 there. Not sure why you wouldn't pass it, but again, works for the Tigers as they now have an opportunity to get the balls back in the hands of their electric offense.
So Landon Willis will drop back deep, ready to return the punt. Again, Parks is both the quarterback and punter for the Falcons. He'll go ahead and boot it off. Great effort there by Max Weisner, nearly blocked it. And that ball will roll all the way back into the end zone for a touchback. Good job by Landon Willis to just let it go. And the Tigers offense will set up shop here from the 20.
Max Weisner almost got a hand on that ball. Would have been great field position if he did, but he did not. And now the Tigers are going to have to take shop at 20. But the Tigers are not unfamiliar with driving all the way down on the field. They almost got some points if it wasn't for an unfortunate holding call that would drop them back 10 and force them to punt it away before the first quarter had just expired. Again, we got 9:26 in the second as the Tigers look to get a touchdown on this drive.
So Pearsall, the Missouri State commit, in the backfield with Micah Manning. He's got Belt, Morse, and Shepard to his left. The handoff, no, a fake handoff. Pearsall takes it himself to the right-hand side. He'll go out of bounds after a gain of about 4. And a flag is up. So maybe some extracurricular activity there. We'll see who it's on. There's a lot of cheers coming from the Lee Summit Tiger student section, so maybe they think they've maybe gotten some yards here for this Tigers offense.
Darius Pearsall isn't afraid to run. Last year he was the 3rd highest rusher amongst everyone, got 397 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns on the season, but picks up a first down there thanks to a penalty. Little help from the Falcons, who have kind of had a rough night, not getting the penalties to simmer down.
So it's a personal foul on the Falcons. Tigers will go ahead and move the chains here. So with 9:16, the Tigers given another break. Penalties have been eating both teams up, but especially the Falcons, as the Tigers look to claw their way into the Falcons side of the field. Pearsall and Manning, again, the only 2 in the backfield, the same receiver core on the left. Manning in motion out to the right-hand side. Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield, takes the snap. 3-step drop. He'll take it himself again to the left-hand side, this time throwing it to Nate Morse, and it'll be a first down for the Tigers. He's hit hard from behind there, but a 15-yard gain for Morse.
Nate Morse, very shifty on the feet, would be tackled by Hayden Gregg. At least someone will get the first down there, and that was a good effort by Nate to kind of take a step back and pick up the first down. You don't see that out of guys like him.
A solid read there from Pearsall to scramble away from pressure and get rid of it before the line of scrimmage. Pearsall again taking it himself, this time brought down at the 50-yard line. So the Falcons not fooled here, and they will shut this play down early.
You know, a lot of the times when you are in a hurry-up offense, it confuses your defense, and it looks like it has been doing that tonight for the Tigers, but fortunately sometimes it doesn't work. Perry is going to get taken a little bit of punishment as it looks to be a 2nd and 15.
So the ball on the 50 here, neutral territory for both teams. Hayden Gregg, the senior, there on the sack. His 2nd play in a row getting his name announced. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. 8:20 left on the clock. Manning rolls out to the right-hand side in motion. The pass will go to Manning. He's going to try to get around 1. He does. He gets around another 2 or 3. He's going to have a first down and an incredible run there from Micah Manning. The yards after the catch stat going to be very important for a guy like Micah, who's very quick on his feet.
Wonderful effort by Micah, breaking out 1, probably 4 tackles on the play there. He's not afraid to receive the ball, had the 2nd highest last year. More of a rushing guy, but Darius will take the snap.
Pearsall looks downfield to the right-hand side. A big hit on the ball as Morse tried to catch that one. Correction, Ryan Belt tried to catch that one. So it'll be 2nd and 10.
Good coverage by Dermont Marshall there. Was able to knock the ball out of Belt's hands before he was able to wrap it around and make the catch.
Pearsall and Manning in the backfield once again. We'll say that several times tonight. We've already said it several times. They've got a great feel for the game, both of these guys. Good IQ. They make big plays when they need to. This time it'll be Manning on the handoff up the middle and about a 5-yard gain there. So the ball will be spotted as about a 3-yard gain. The ball moved up to the 30.
It's going to be a big 3rd down to pick up. If they can do it, they're going to be in the red zone, knocking on the door of a touchdown. And we said earlier, when they get in the red zone, not a whole lot stops them. So hopefully they can pick this up to see if they can score the first points of the night.
Pearsall in the backfield. This time fakes a handoff to Morse. The pass goes over to Belt on the right-hand side. A flag is down again. So we'll await to see the official's decision here. About a 6-yard gain on the pass play without the flag.
Looks to be on the Falcons as the referees are discussing it with the Tigers. It looks like the official is going to give us the call here. Eric Thomas hands out. Maybe it is on the Tigers, and it is. Again, last drive ended up in a penalty, which took them out of field goal range, and it looks like a similar story is unfolding tonight.
So again, the Tigers affected by the penalty flag early. Both teams have been hurt by it, and this time it's the Tigers biting the bullet. Second quarter here, 7:17 on the clock. Ball is still on the 31-yard line, it looks. And the Tigers offense receiving some help from the sidelines here. Pearsall and Kaya Tupino this time in the backfield. Tupino, a big guy. He likes to run it up the middle, try to bulldoze people. The snap, Pearsall steps back, looks over the middle, and it'll be caught. An incredible play for the Tigers. Catch by Ryan Belt there. Gets his senior year started off. He's had a great year already, and he continues it here.
Ryan Belt last year had the most receiving yards out of any Tigers, doubled who had the second, which was Micah Manning. He has 7 TDs, and he had a game day against Belton, several touchdowns from him, and Tigers look to score right now.
As we said earlier, this Tigers offense lethal inside the red zone. This time they are even further inside the red zone. Ball on the 5. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. 3 receivers out to the right. Manning in motion, goes out to the left. Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield, drops back to pass. He'll try to run it himself up the right-hand side. He's got some space. He will get in there. Referee signal it a touchdown. The Tigers now finally putting 6 points up on the board. No penalty flag will stop this one. The cannons shoot off, and this building is going crazy.
Absolutely. We knew if the Tigers were able to get into the red zone, which they just did, they were going to get some points on the board. Darius Pearsall being the first to strike. This is going to be critical. Going late into the game, it looks to be a defensive struggle, so this 6 points could be the difference in whether the Tigers win or lose. Against the matchup against Staley last year, Staley only won by a touchdown, so maybe this is the touchdown which will turn the tides for the Tigers as the PAT is kicked, and it is good.
So Troy Huffman there making the score 7-0 for the Tigers. 6:14 on the play clock here. The cannons fire off once again thanks to the Tigers JROTC. And this Tigers offense, which has been lethal ever since the 4th quarter of the Liberty ball game, has struck once again. 57 points in their last game against the Belton Pirates and 7 here in the first half.
That's exactly right. And after Darius scored that, it looks like everyone seems to be a bit rejuvenated. The loud crowd getting into it, doing the cheers of the cheerleaders, the Tigerettes waving their hands, the Golden Guard and the marching band even blowing into their tubas, all excited after that touchdown by Darius. It really brings the crowd and the life back into the game, which is needed as we were scoreless almost 18 minutes in, halfway through the second quarter. but we are no longer with 6:14 left to go in the second quarter.
So as Kyle said, the scoreless tie here broken. If you're just joining us, I'm Jordan Wood, joined by Kyle Cumberland in the booth. Josh Walker runs our camera and graphics, does a great job for us to make sure you guys are as informed as we are in the booth. Troy Huffman steps up once again, and he hits a little squib kick up the middle of the field there, fielded by the Falcons, and now they're going to make something out of this. A run onto the right-hand side gets the ball all the way past the 40, up to the 44-yard line. So Mylan Mitchell there, a running back for this Falcons team, gets his chance to return a kick, and he doesn't squander it.
That was a great return. I'm not really sure what the kick was there. It looked kind of like a squib kick down the middle, but Mylan Mitchell was definitely able to receive it, get something of it. And we'll see if the Tigers defense, we've seen them multiple times hold them when they started at the 50-yard line. Can they do it again? I don't know. Might be getting one out by now, but the defensive line has looked solid. We'll see what the Falcons want to come out to do. They really haven't been able to get the running game going, and they're going to need to if they expect to put up some points now tonight with 6:06 left in the second quarter.
As we pointed out earlier, this Falcons offense has looked very solid from their own side of the field. As soon as they get into Tiger territory, I'm not sure if it's lack of offensive ability or if it's this Tigers defense realizing we've got to make a stop and turning up the intensity a little bit. But no points coming out of this Falcons side. Despite the great successes that they've had on offense, they just haven't been able to piece it together and put the final touches on to put points on the board.
That's right. The Falcons are definitely going to need to step up the game when they get into the Tigers territory. Right now, they just haven't seemed to do that. They're fielded at the 45-yard line. We'll see if they can get some yards there. Wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot of passing on this drive, as that seems to be the only facet of the offense that is working. But Dawson Parks hopefully is going to get something going as he has these past two games.
So Parks in the backfield, joined back there by Mylan Mitchell. And Mylan Mitchell will be brought down very quickly by this Tigers defense. Kyle, you pointed out that the pass game has been working very well for the Falcons, but since Belton, this Tigers defense has stepped up to the plate against the run, and they do so again here against Mylan Mitchell.
You know, Jordan, I would say since even Liberty, they were pretty solid. Alexander Barnett absolutely running Mr. Marshall into the ground there. It's going to be a second and long for the Falcons.
Parks drops back to pass, and he is hit hard. A bone-crunching tackle there from Michael Garozzo. And I don't know that anyone knew what to think of that one. They're kind of stunned. Even the Tigers student section there, you hear cries of, "Oh my goodness."
I don't even know if Dawson Parks, when he got that ball, had time to think, because as soon as it was in his hands, it was out of it as Michael Garozzo absolutely takes him down in the pocket there, absolutely collapsed the pocket. We'll see what the Falcons do on third and long.
Third and long, again pressure. The pass will go to Marshall. He's got space on the right-hand side. He'll get the first down and then some. He breaks free. He's at the 30-yard line and brought down at the 25. Several flags thrown on the field. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. It looked like maybe there was a face mask on the play. The Tigers looking at 7-0. But a great play there from this Falcons offense. We'll see what the penalty flag is. It'll be a personal foul, face mask on the Tigers. So the ball will be spotted down initially at about the 26. A lot of penalty flags been thrown here early on in this one. We'll see how the Tigers defense reacts here with their backs against the wall, almost literally here, as this ball will be moved all the way up to about the 13-yard line.
It's never what you want to see there if you're the Tigers. Just some missed tackles in the open field. It's going to shut up the Falcons for the first time, knocking on the door in the end zone of the Tigers.
Parks in the backfield, joined by Mylan Mitchell. Snap goes to Parks, handoff goes to Mitchell on the left-hand side. He's got room, but he's finally brought down here at about the 5-yard line. So Mitchell finally breaking through the seams there. And Michael Garozzo gets his name called once more as he gets a tackle on the play.
Grozo seeming to have a heyday here. He's got some sacks and now some tackles on the play. Falcons seem to have gotten tired of Marshall running the ball, so they switched to Mitchell, who has been seemingly a bit more dominant, even though he's not their running back number one.
An impressive drive so far for the Falcons. Can they punch their ticket to the end zone is the question. Parks here, fakes a handoff, rolls out to his left-hand side. Was that ball picked? No, it wasn't. It falls just incomplete, and again, a flag down. There's a man shaken up for the Falcons. Looked like Kevin Boswell there shaken up on the play. We'll see what the flag is.
It was on the Tigers there and didn't really catch it, but will be against the Tigers. Still second down, though, for the Falcons.
So the hopes for a touchdown have improved even more here for the Falcons. Parks, a good drive so far, proving that he can step up to the plate in this game, put some plays together, and gain some yards.
Hey, there's a long Staley tradition. I'm trying to
Parks and Mylan Mitchell will be in the backfield. So first and goal now for the first time tonight for the Falcons. So Mylan Mitchell will be subbed off the field, and Dumont Marshall comes on. So Parks now, can he lead this Falcons team to 6 points? 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the play clock. The ball is spotted at the 9. Whistles here from the officials. They'll talk it over some more. So penalties have been a big theme tonight, Kyle. Hurting both teams here. Can the Tigers keep out this touchdown is the question.
Well, I don't know. If they pass, I think the Falcons are going to get it. But if they run, I think the defensive line will be able to stop them. But it all depends on the play call.
Sparks here. Yells a couple times, maybe trying to get this Tigers offense to jump off sides. They will not do it. So he'll step back. Marshall and Parks in the backfield. Parks has it. He's going to try to punch it in through the middle, and he will be sat down quickly by the Tigers.
Dawson Parks tried to get in the end zone there. Shut down again the Tigers defensive line. You cannot say enough about this unit. They've been so dominant, and they continue to be so. I don't know if it's just me, Jordan, but it appears that the Falcons have had a little trouble receiving the play call. Several times Dawson has had to let go of the call and look back towards his coach to see what the right call was, as he's doing so right now. The entire offensive unit, they're trying to run a no huddle, but it's not that quick, I'll be honest.
Tigers, one of the best teams in the state at running that no huddle hurry up style of offense. I haven't seen any other school that's been able to replicate it playing against them. And looks like Staley will go ahead and call a timeout to try to regroup here and talk things over. 3:31 left. 7-0 our score. Kyle, what have you liked so far about this Tigers team here early on in this one?
Well, I've really liked what the defense have been able to do as up until late. They've been able to shut down the Falcons' offense. The Falcons have a lot of weapons in the Sheldon, their number one wide receiver, who's they've been able to make almost obsolete. They've still had some trouble shutting down Mr. Mylan in the backfield, but as the game goes on, they're going to need to have an answer for them because the Falcons are going to keep handing it off. As far as on the line goes, I think the Tigers have done a pretty good job keeping them on the line, but in the open field, it's been a struggle to get those tackles. It's been very obvious on special teams when they can't make a tackle, and the big run, which has now set up the Falcons for a touchdown right now.
Both teams have been hurt by the penalty flags here early in this one, and that has helped move this Falcons offense, knocking on the goal line. The ball spotted on about the 4-yard line. It's 3rd and 1. The snap, it'll be Parks trying to run it again, and looks like he does move the chains. So a 3:27 there. The tackle looks like it's on Tyler Terrence.
Mylan Mitchell's going to run out to the field there as Dermont Marshall is going to be called off. We'll see what the play call is again. I'd be surprised. It's still 4th down and inches. They might, oh, never mind. First and goal, they're going to have a new set of downs to work with, and with only a couple yards, I can't imagine them not punching their way into the end zone.
So now the referees giving the Falcons the okay to resume play here. Parks on the left-hand side, first and goal for the Falcons. 3 minutes left on the play clock here. 3 yards to go. The handoff goes to Mitchell, and touchdown Staley. So 7-6 our score now. We'll see the PAT unit come out for the first time tonight, as Mitchell able to put these Falcons up on the board for the first time. We've seen the offense march up the field a couple times, just not able to punch their ticket into the end zone yet, and now they finally complete things and give themselves 6 points. So DeJuan Saunders kicks it up and good for the Falcons. 7-7 our score now with 2:57 left.
You know, Falcons look pretty dominant on that drive. Tigers defense have looked pretty good. Now 2:57 left in the quarter, or in the half, excuse me. And we'll see what the Tiger offense can do with that. We've seen them take a little bit of time and turn it into some big yards against Liberty. Their final drive, they only had 45 seconds to get it down, but they almost got it down from backed up in their own 20 to a touchdown, but it fell a little short out the hands of Nate Morse. But we'll see. I'd imagine them being able to run down the field and get some points in this one. I don't know about you, Jordan.
A beautiful night for football tonight, a beautiful night for any sport. Only 72 degrees as the clock kind of ticks towards fall. And we'll see here if this Tigers offense is going to be in a winning way tonight. Able to put up a lot of points last week, able to put up points when it mattered against Liberty. Can they do the same here against the 2-0 Liberty Staley Falcons? The kick goes downfield to the right-hand side. It'll be Micah Manning fielding it back from about his own 4-yard line. Micah very quick, gets it over to the right-hand side. He tries to break himself free, and the Staley special teams brings him down at about the 10-yard line. Manning not usually the returner on those kicks for the Tigers. That time he gets his name called. He had some yards up the left-hand side, but wanted to get a little more out to the right. He just couldn't quite escape the Staley special teams unit. So Tigers march back out onto the field, and the offense looks to scratch back another score up onto the board. With only 2:50 left here in the half, they've got to be quick about it. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Pearsall fakes a handoff, takes it himself out to the right-hand side, and he's going to be brought down at about the line of scrimmage there.
Not much to go off there. Pearsall didn't get many yards, but he has been rushing tonight, and some of them have been successful. One would have been a touchdown if not for a holding penalty, but we'll probably see a pass here. I wouldn't be surprised as number 17 lined up to the left and Nate Morse to the right.
So Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Trent Fell runs out onto the field for the Tigers for the first time tonight. Pearsall looks to pass here over to the right-hand side. It's caught by Ryan Bell, and he'll grab a couple of yards here for the Tigers as he is smushed over on the right-hand side there on the, it looked like the 23-yard line. 3rd and 6 for the Tigers.
Belt, not a whole lot of green room to work with there. He had a lot of blocks to make happen and did get a couple yards out of the play, though. It'll set up for 3rd and 6 yards for the Tigers. Timeout called by the Falcons.
1:54 left in the half. The Tigers have to be urgent if they want to put another score on the board. If they can't put another score on the board, they've got to put the ball far enough away that the Falcons can't do it before time expires here. Late half touchdowns or field goals or anything to put your team in front, obviously a huge momentum booster that your team can ride for the rest of the game. Kyle, what have you liked so far about the offense for the Tigers?
I've really liked how they've been able to get both the running game and the passing game going. Unfortunately, penalties have kind of messed them up as they have driven down the field, but I would like to see some more passing as we go later into the game. You just saw a pass to Ryan Belt. I'd like to see more to him as he's their star wide receiver, but they also have so many weapons to get involved. Nate Morris, great game against Liberty. Landon Shepard, kind of an underrated wide receiver for the Tigers. Trent Fell running out there for those last 2 plays. We'll see if he gets involved any. They just need to share the wealth, and they have a lot of people to share the wealth too.
Senior year, Ryan Belt, not a name that a lot of people talk about. He's not committed yet to a college, but he's a great talent and a huge energy boost for this Tigers offense. So Pearsall in the backfield. He's going to roll out to his left-hand side. He looks downfield, pressure coming, and he'll throw it down the right-hand side of the field, and it's caught by the Tigers. So about 4th and 2. Looked like Nate Morse on the grab. So again, Pearsall showing the ability to evade pressure and throw it downfield into tight spots.
Man, Darius Pearsall's quickness is what allowed him to only get the pass off, and it would have been a surefire safety if he didn't, but he did, and he was able to pick up a gain out of that. As I don't know, the offense looks confused. Will they go for it? Will they not? Backed up in their own field goal. We'll see. It would be risky.
So Staley will burn their final timeout of the half. All spotted on the 22-yard line. 4th and 1. We'll see the Tigers offense, it looks like. Seven to 7 our score. It's been a tight ball game on both sides of the field for both teams. Coyote Pino will back up to punt for the Tigers, and a smart call there from head coach Eric Thomas, as the Tigers don't want to allow a score here if they were unable to convert on 4th down with only 1:44 left in the half. So Topino will punt away, and we'll have to see this defense. No, it's a fake, and they will get the 1st down. So Eric Thomas fools us once again in the broadcast booth, and a great call gets the Tigers a 1st down.
That's going to be big as the Tigers now have the momentum. Loud crowd yet again getting into it with the cheerleaders on the sidelines. It'll be interesting to see what the Tigers do here as they pulled everyone. I really did not expect them to go for it, as it would have been an extremely risky play. The Falcons would have been in prime scoring position, but here they are taking the field once again.
So Micah Manning, a goalkeeper, a defensive back, a punter, and an actor, apparently, for this Tigers team. Pearsall in the backfield, throws it way downfield. He's got Fell. No, Morse caught it. He's got space, and he's brought down inside the 30. Nate Morse with a massive play for the Tigers as they look to put a score up on the board with only 1:06 remaining.
5'8", 155 pounds, and can make plays like that. I don't know many people his size who can do that in the state, rather in the nation. But Darius Pearsall, that's a great throw. Not many quarterbacks have his arm strength, and we see what he'll do here.
We saw them try to connect on that play earlier in the ball game, just out of Morse's reach, that time connecting way downfield. This time the pass goes to the left-hand side, and it'll go out of bounds. So Pearsall stopping the clock at 50.2. Things getting interesting here as we move into the later half of the second half. Only 50 left on the play clock. 7 to 7 our score. This Tigers offense has looked to convert when they've needed to, and they've done so as their only time getting into the red zone has been a touchdown.
Darius Pearsall waiting for the call there. He seems to have got it. He's got a lot of options out to his right, with Landon Willis being one of them. Hasn't received many passing yards tonight, but Darius is going to make something happen here.
Several receiving options for Pearsall as the Tigers look to punch their ticket into the end zone. Pearsall's going to have to run it himself here to the left-hand side, and he'll just dive onto the ground after about a 3-yard run.
That was a good call by Pearsall, man-to-man on the right side, so not a whole lot of action where he could have threaded the needle there. So he takes the unfortunate 1-yard gain, but a timeout by the Tigers to hopefully regroup and see what we can have here.
So again, we see the brilliance of Eric Thomas on the Tigers sideline, not using his timeouts earlier on, but now burning his first one of the half. He's got 2 more to use. The Falcons have already used all of theirs rather, here in the first half. They will be reset as we start the second half, so we'll see if the Tigers have a use to use all of their timeouts. 44.3 on the clock, so still plenty of time now as they've moved the ball past the 50 for a score.
Tigers regrouping here. I'm sure Eric Thomas is coming up with the perfect game plan to punch it into the end zone. The loud crowd for the Staley is now getting loud, and the Tigers reciprocating that energy on the other side of the field. Both loud crowds have been very into it throughout this game, and loud crowd hopefully shifting the tide for the Tigers as they hope to knock this one in.
Darius Pearsall standing at the 30-yard line, now running up to his offensive line. The ball is spotted on the 26. 3rd and 9. Pearsall feeling the pressure, rolls out to his right, heaves it downfield. It is incomplete. So 4th and 9, 37 seconds left now. The play clock stopped once again. We saw them complete a 4th down conversion already this drive, but 4th and 9 is a taller task.
Jalen Newberry for the Falcons almost had Pearsall there, barely being able to evade pressure is what now looks like the kicking unit will come on out to the field. We'll see if they can get this field goal. This is long for even a college team, but for a high school team, this would be impressive if they knock this one down.
So Troy Huffman 1 for 1 on PAT attempts tonight. Looks to knock one in from deep. It is blocked. Ryan Belt picks it up, rolls out to the right-hand side, and he may have a first down as he's finally brought down. He's just short of it at the 20-yard line. So a turnover on downs, and how about that?
27-7 is left on the clock for the Falcons. We'll see if they can get anything done. Offensive line just seemed to collapse. Huffman seemed to have taken his time, maybe a bit too long there, but wasn't able to get it off in time, as almost every man on that 11 Falcons special teams was all over the ball there. Belt looked like he almost had the edge, just not quite fast enough, but we'll see what the Falcons come here, if they just want to kneel it and end the time, or if they want to try and make something special happen.
A great heads-up play there by Belt to take it and try to run. I won't see this Falcons team kneeling here as they are tied. 27.7, as you said earlier, on the play clock. Still time, if they need it, to get down the field. It'll be a run for the Falcons, and they are brought down just short of the first down. So Dermont Marshall on the carry. He's had a decent game so far, and the clock is running.
And this is where using your timeouts earlier in the half comes into play. Falcons used 2 in the first half, or in the first quarter alone, so time is just going to expire. What could have been a field goal is now just going to be no points, as the Tigers are going to be the first to receive the ball in the second half.
So the clock expires here. The Tigers 7-7 against the Staley Falcons. It's been an impressive first half showing from the Tigers offense and defense, and we'll look to see how they can respond in the second half.
Now we're going to have a short break and a message from our sponsors.
When it comes to SUVs, nothing beats Honda. U.S. News & World Report's best SUV brand 4 years in a row, including the 2019 Honda Pilot, one of the millions of Hondas built here in America since 1982. Or the 2019 CR-V, a crossover car and driver calls a better value than the RAV4. And right now, get Pilot with 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. For more offers, visit kchondadealers.com today.
Today is a new day. A day we've been waiting for our whole lives. We've put in the work to get to this moment, to have this opportunity to come together as a team. Everyone knows KC is on the rise, but what they don't know is we're just getting started. Oh, yeah! Community America, powering the rise of Kansas City.
Core Civic is proud to support Lansing Athletics. Core Civic is America's leader in partnership corrections, operating over 60 facilities in nearly half of all states. Learn more about Core Civic job opportunities at corecivic.com. You can apply for a rewarding position as a correctional officer, a nurse, or a school teacher, just to name a few. Your next career could be in corrections with Core Civic. Visit corecivic.com. That's corecivic.com.
Gear up for back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back to Bud Herzog Stadium. Halftime now, and we'll turn our attention down to the center of the field, where the Lee Summit Tigers Golden Guard, Marching Band, and Tigerettes will all put on a display for those in attendance here tonight and for you, the viewers at home.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your Golden Tiger Marching Band under the field direction of drum majors Benny Maddox, Kenneth Shelby, and Abigail Cabell. Tonight the band will be performing selections from the show entitled The Witch of the Saint. Soloists include Diego Ortez, Emma Bauman, Zach Church, Sean Oldham, Kendall Easley, Leah Finch, and Damian Wilson. You guys want this on for anyone? Just learned over the years it's harder to see with the lights on out there.
Welcome back to Bud Herzog Stadium, where the Lee Summit Tigers are taking on the Staley Eagles. It was a close first half, score knotted up at 7-7 here, about a minute away from kickoff. Kyle, what have you seen both teams do well that you think they'll need to capitalize here as they move into the second half?
Jordan, the Tigers are definitely going to want to keep up what they've done so far on defense, but I would like to see the passing game involved more in offense. So far, they've been able to seemingly easily move it down the field, but when it comes and they seem to get a couple penalties and it has ruined some of their drives, if they can just finish on those drives, I wouldn't be surprised if they could get in the end zone twice more tonight.
Both teams have been affected by the penalties here early on. What have you liked from Staley's offense or defensive side of the ball here as we've gotten underway in the first half?
What I like from their offense is their passing ability. Lee Summit has a pretty good secondary, and they've been able to slash it up very well. But what I need to see more from them is their rushing game. They haven't been able to get that involved, and it has showed. If they are able to get the rushing game, it even opens up the passing game more, and that would be critical as they expect to. They're probably going to need to get in the end zone one time at least, maybe even twice.
So once again, we'll see 12 minutes put up on the clock here as we get underway in the second half. As we said earlier, a very close first half. Surely we can expect to see more of the same as we move into period number 3. The Tigers have 2 men back ready to return. Nate Morse generally is their guy on kick returns. The ball is up in the air. This time it will go to Micah Manning, who fields it at about the 15-yard line. He'll get the ball all the way up to about the 20, and that's where the Tigers will kick things off here in the second half. But as we said in the halftime recap, penalty flag's been a problem earlier for both teams, and once again, a flag thrown on the play.
Yeah, penalty flags have been a problem, and they're going to need to nip that in the bud. Staley with a kind of a short kick there, fielded fairly well. The Tigers are going to have decent field position on their first drive. Definitely going to want to see more of Kaya Tapino. He's kind of quiet in the first half. And Landon Shepard, I would like to see the ball go to him a lot more. But as we've said before, the weapons on this offense are so deep, so they have a lot of options. Nate Morris has been catching balls right and left, deep from the field. We'll probably see a lot more from him tonight.
Kyle, you mentioned Landon Shepard. He's been available just about any time the Tigers have called on his number since the Liberty game. The penalty flag will move the ball all the way up to the, it looks like about the 43. So the Tigers receiving a big helping hand here early in the second half. Pearsall and Manning, the 2 men in the backfield. Manning now in motion to the left-hand side. Pearsall fakes a pass over to the left-hand side, runs it himself to the left-hand side, and is brought down. So after about an 8-yard gain there, Pearsall is brought down.
Pearsall was tackled hard to the ground by Nick right there. That was a good read by Darius to take it up the field. Got him 8 yards, and now only 2 more to go before Tigers pick up this first down.
As we mentioned earlier, Pearsall a dual threat option. Can throw it as well as he can run it. A blitz coming. He slings it over to the left-hand side. It's Manning on a screen pass, and a perfect play call there from Eric Thomas. So the ball all the way up now early on to the Staley 41-yard line.
Jordan, you said it was the perfect play call, and I think those are perfect choice of words. Sometimes the best play call isn't that 50-yard pass down the field, although that would be ideal. Sometimes it's just best to get the first down and keep the chains moving.
The Tigers have felt the pressure of the blitz several times in this one, and thanks to the play call there, it's not an option. Snaps a little high to Pearsall. Pressure coming, as we said earlier. He overthrows his man. It was Morse over the middle of the field. So the Tigers now 2nd and 10 from the Staley 41.
Braden Robertson was right there as Pearsall got the ball up, was able to bring him to the ground. Luckily, Pearsall got back up quickly and is ready to take on more during the second half performance.
11:16 remaining in the third quarter, just getting the second half underway. If you're just joining us, I'm Jordan Wood. My color commentator alongside me is Kyle Cumberland. Pitch black sky here tonight. Pearsall. Handoff goes to Micah Manning, and there's the Liberty defense all over the carry from Manning. And the ball is spotted at about the 46.
It's going to be a long 3rd and 15 to go for the Tigers. They're definitely going to need a good pass to get the first down. The loud crowd's now screaming, do it, because that's exactly what they're going to need to do. They're just going to need to do it, get the ball down the field if they expect to have a chance at getting a field goal or possibly even a touchdown on this drive. Pearsall still waiting for the call with Micah Manning in the backfield.
Obviously, the points are the name of the game in any game, and the Tigers are looking to put some points up on the board here early in the second half. Pearsall back from the Liberty side of the field. He's going to feel some pressure early. The pass there is tipped and batted down at about the 45 of the Liberty side of the field. So fourth down, but a good job by Pearsall there to at least get rid of it so that he's not sacked for a huge loss.
Pearsall, I thought for sure was going to be sacked there. He was able to spin out of that one. Barely, just the defender's left arm hooked him. Luckily wasn't taken down too hard there. No injuries on the play, and punt return unit sets up for the Falcons. We'll see what they can do on their offensive first drive of the half.
So David Brooks back ready to receive for the Falcons. Kaya Tapino snap a little high. Punt nearly blocked there. Brooks has to run forward a little bit, and the Tigers have swarmed the ball. They're going to be able to watch this thing run all the way back to the 14-yard line, and Trent Fell dives on it for the Tigers, as with 10:18 left on the clock, the Falcons will be pinned all the way back to the 14.
Falcons not really used in this game to starting from their own 14-yard line, but they're going to need to figure out a way to drive down the ball. I figure that the defense is going to be able to make multiple stops here, forcing some third downs. They might convert on a few, but overall I think the defense is going to reign superior, which they will need to be, as it has been a defensive struggle this game, remaining 7-7 through the first two quarters. There's now 10 minutes to go in the third.
Staley has been led all year by Dawson Parks. In the backfield, joining Parks will be Mylan Mitchell. He's had a good game so far. Man in motion for Staley. Handoff goes to Mitchell. The Tigers defense, a couple of clashes of pads there after about a three-yard gain. So Mylan Mitchell gets the thing started here for the Staley offense.
Mylan Mitchell is a name that we didn't get to hear much of during the first quarter, but after several good kick returns and punt returns, he was able to get his number called more, and he has been dominant. He does not go down easy, and it takes multiple defenders to bring him down.
Again, a man in motion here for Staley. Parks hands it off once more. It's Mitchell. Breaking several tackles. It looked like he went down there, stays on his feet, and finally getting held on by the shoe is brought down at about the 21. Alexander Barnett there on the tackle for the Tigers.
Alexander Barnett was able to just hang on to his left shoe there, which allowed for other defenders to wait and bring him down. Mitchell breaking several tackles there. He's going to look to do some more during this drive.
A little bit of confusion there as Parks gets the handoff. The play is whistled dead. Half the field didn't move. Half the field sprung into action. Parks does a good job to play through the whistles at least. We'll see what the call is here from the referees. 9:12 on the clock, and it'll be a penalty flag against the Tigers.
Coach Thomas not happy with that one. He's approaching the field with his hands up saying, what the heck happened? Because it looked like the ball had been snapped. Some saying the offense, but nonetheless it will be a Falcons first down.
Several times first downs have affected this game, and once again playing their hand already early in the second half. We saw it on the Tigers' offensive drive, and now with the Eagles. Or the Falcons, excuse me. Parks in the backfield, joined by Mitchell. He's got a man out to his left, one out to his right. Handoff goes to Mitchell. He'll be stopped at about the 17-yard line. So frustration from the Staley student section. And with 8:50 left on the clock, Lawan Miller makes a tackle for the Tigers.
Just a pile of Tigers was able to drive him back into the ground. I'm a little surprised the passing game hasn't been getting going. It's one facet of the game I thought was working well for the Falcons going in, but they seem to be finding their groove in the run game. We'll see how long they will ride this wave.
Liberty Falcons, or Staley Falcons, are 2-0 to this point in the year, tied up with the Tigers here. Pass goes over to the right-hand side, and with space and finally brought out of bounds will be Joey Deringer. So great play recognition there by Parks, and another first down here for Staley.
Number 53, Tyler Tarrant.
Yeah, Tyler Terrence, good tackle by him, because if not, Daringer might have been able to go the distance for the touchdown. But there's the passing game I mentioned earlier. They're being able to influence that in. Once they start running the ball efficiently, you can tell Tigers start expecting the runs, and then when they don't come, messes them up. But we'll see what the Falcons can do here.
So once again, Parks in the backfield. Snap, it's a passing play, heaves it way downfield. He's got a man open on the right-hand side, and a flag is down again.
Ball is incomplete, penalty flag is down.
So, as we said, penalties playing a huge hand in this game, and they will once more. This could be detrimental for this Tigers defense if it is indeed called on them. Look there like the flag is called on Thomas Smith.
Call is holding against the Tigers.
Holding call. It's going to give the Falcons 5 yards and another first down. Still haven't broke the 50-yard plan, but they look like they're driving pretty well, aided by some penalties to convert some third downs for them. Just crossed the 50-yard line. It looks like it's going to be spotted at the 44-yard line. We'll see what the Falcons can do here after big penalty to get them that first down.
8:14 on the clock here in the third. Man in motion here for Staley. Snap is high to Parks, and a fumble on the handoff, and the ball is down at the 48. So the Tigers able to spring onto that one and make Liberty eat their error there.
The one game I said in the pregame to watch for was the turnovers by the Falcons offense. It looks like they've been able to nip those in the bud, with Dawson Parks having no interceptions on the night, 2 on the season. Fumble there recovered by the Falcons. That could have been bad, and it'll make for a 2nd and 15. We'll see what they can do here as Dawson sets up with a man in the backfield.
Ball on the 49. Parks drops back to pass. Again, pressure from the Tigers defense. He gets the pass off, and it's completed. He's got space on the right-hand side, and he's finally brought down.
Mitchell with the reception there. Cayet's Pino almost had that tackle, which would have gotten him about a 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, but he couldn't hang on. So now still going to be a decently long 3rd and 7. We'll see what the Falcons are going to cook up in their playbook here. They've been having some success running and passing on the drive so far, so it's anybody's guess as to what they're going to call here.
So Mitchell runs off the field. It'll be Dermont Marshall to replace him as the running back. Parks again in the backfield with Marshall. Another man in motion here for Staley. Parks drops back to pass, and he fumbles it. Ball's on the ground, and it looked like Staley might have picked that one up. Did the Tigers get a hand on it?
Fumble is recovered by Staley, brings up 4th down.
So it is recovered by Staley, but it's a 4th and way long, so we'll see the punting unit come on out.
And just as I say, the Falcons had done a good job of keeping the turnovers to a minimum. They had 2 luckily caught back fumbles. If those had gotten into the hand of the Tigers, the offense would have had a ton of momentum going into this drive, but still going to have decent field position as the Falcons' punts haven't been flying far, but we'll see how long this one goes.
So Landon Willis back to receive the punt from Parks. It's going to go over his head. He's going to have to back up. He'll call a fair catch now on about the 10-yard line. Doesn't want that one rolling back and allowing the Tigers offense to be pinned within their own 5. So a smart play by Landon Willis. And with 6:02, the Tigers have their backs up against the wall at about the 10.
We saw with almost 3 minutes left in the second half, the Tigers were almost able to drive and score a touchdown, but a turnover on downs aided by a penalty would not allow them to do so. So we'll see what they can do on this drive. Pearsall has been having a lot of success running the ball his own, as he's not liked what he's seen in the passing game sometimes. But he also has Cayet's Pino, whose number has not been called a lot tonight. Maybe they're not relying on him. Maybe there's an injury we don't know, but a lot of confusion right now. We'll see what they could do as the rushing game would certainly love to be involved. Micah Manning has seemed to be their go-to guy in that aspect of the game. Still waiting for the play call, but they'll set up shop at their own 10-yard line.
That's exactly right. A lot of times we do see a big-time combo from Tapino and Micah Manning out of the backfield, but it's been more Manning with the speed than Tapino with the power in this game. And with 6:02 remaining, the Tigers look to be the first ones to put points up on the board here in the second half. Third quarter just getting underway. If you're just now joining us, I'm Jordan Wood with Kyle Cumberland in the booth. Josh Walker runs the camera for us and does a good job with the graphics, making sure you guys are staying up to date with us without us having to update you in the booth. It'll be Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. 3 receiver options for the Tigers. First and 10, ball on their own 10. Pearsall hands it off to Manning. He stutters a little bit, another flag down, and finally Manning is brought down without really getting anywhere around the 10.
Looks like it's going to be holding on the Tigers. That would be a shame, as they've had several holding penalties, which has not made it easy for Pearsall, and it is holding. It's not made it easy for Pearsall in this offense to get going when you're constantly having to move back 10 yards at a time, so definitely going to want to see that stopped in the future. This offensive line has done a good job at protecting Pearsall, but at what cost with these penalties?
So Staley again catches a break on the defensive end. They've had the Tigers already pinned back, and with the penalty they'll be pushed back even further, but they will decline the penalty, so it'll be 2nd and 12. And the Tigers look to push back against Staley, who have pushed back against them to start this offensive drive. 2nd and 12. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Again, 3 receiver options. Snap is high. Pearsall looks to the left, finds Shepard over the middle. Shepard's got space, and as we said at halftime, we wanted to see the Tigers go to Shepard a little more. They do it. He gets the call, and he answers.
It's a good pass by Pearsall. Set up a 3rd and short. Probably going to run it here. They have a lot of options in the run game, but looks like Micah Manning is in the backfield as he gets the snap and picks up the first down.
So Manning doesn't need the power of Pepino that time to earn the first down. So with 5:14 to go, it's 1st and 10 for the Tigers once again. So they fight back against the penalties. They fight back against having their backs against their own end zone. And the Tigers have clawed their way out of danger. So once again, Pearsall receives the snap, fakes a handoff. He takes it himself to the left-hand side. He's got space and goes out of bounds after about a 4-yard gain.
It's a good read by Pearsall. The line kind of collapsed there. Micah Manning got swallowed up. Those who thought he had the ball were unfortunately mistaken, as Pearsall was able to gain 4 on the play.
So 2nd down and 6 now. Ball spotted at about the 28. Tigers offense has been efficient so far, and they look to continue it here. The snap, Pearsall hands it off to Manning, and he is swallowed up by this Staley defense, and the run game has not worked as well, I think, as the Tigers would have hoped here coming out of the gates in the second half.
It's going to be a 3rd and 6 yard. Not a terribly long pickup, but can't be underestimated in this game as Pearsall awaits the call from his coach. He's got a lot of recedes out to the right.
So it looks like Pearsall will be the lone man in the backfield. As you said, a lot of receiver options for this team. They've got threats all over the field. Any guy can make a play for this Tigers offense, and they have been doing so tonight. Pearsall in the backfield. The snap. He's got men over to the right-hand side. He throws it to the left, and breaking away from tackles, that looks like Landon Willis there. But it will be 4th down for the Tigers.
Caleb Taylor for the Falcons just swallowed Pearsall up there. As soon as he had the ball in his hands, he was having to throw it away, but they're going to hurry up offense. Pearsall back and 4th down.
4th and 2. Pearsall goes for it and throws it away. The pass just a little high, a good effort from the receiver there. And now we're seeing Staley hyped up once again as they've got great field position to start another drive.
You're asking a lot of your defense to hopefully hold them to a field goal at minimum. Hopefully not a touchdown for the Falcons, but we've seen the Tigers try and get a little tricky. They faked a punt return, and it did work late in the second half, or in the first half, excuse me, but trying to get a little too cute there. Pass was a little too high out to his right side, and the Falcons are going to have a look here on offense with a short field to work with.
3 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers defense has done well when the ball has been on their side of the field. Staley now. Tie ball game, 7-7. The offense needs to answer the call here and put some points up on the board. Dropping back is Parks. He feels the pressure. He rolls out to his left-hand side. He throws it, and it is caught. What a play there for Staley, and Ramon Shelton gives them big yards. We've seen the slippery Ramon Shelton get free several times tonight. He does it once again, and big yards for the Staley offense.
Shelton has been kind of locked up by the Tigers secondary so far, was able to get a crucial first down and short as number 5 Marshall takes the handoff there.
Marshall gets some more yards for the Staley offense. They're still trying to push him forward, but the play will be finally whistled dead at about the 4-yard line. So Marshall back out onto the field, and Dermont Marshall makes it 2nd and 2. Ball on the 4. Parks ready again. Handoff goes to Marshall. He's got space on the left-hand side, but he won't get free from the Tigers defense. A good read there to spot the run early and bring him down.
That was a good job by Landon Willis, the safety. Recognized the sweep jet and was able to stop it early. 3rd down and short for the Falcons. This would be a critical 3rd stop if they could force the 4th down and possibly negate them to a field goal. But a field goal isn't a gimme from this range at this level.
Yeah, you said it. High school field goals are always a point of contingency for teams unless you have a very solid kicker. So nothing's a gimme from any range. Parks steps back, fires to the left-hand side, and it's caught in the end zone. A diving catch. What a play from Ramon Shelton. We said he's had a big game so far. It gets even bigger. 13-7 the score now, and Staley jumps out in front.
We saw them do this last season as they won 14-7 against the Tigers. Now up 13-7, trying to make it 14 as the point extra attempt, and it comes on.
So Staley was down to start the game 7-0. The point after attempt goes up, and it is good. Kick there from Braden Walker makes the score 14-7. And now the Tigers are the ones who find themselves in a hole after Staley claws back into this ball game and puts themselves on top.
It seems like Staley has kind of found a groove in their offense as the defensive line for the Tigers didn't do their part in that last drive. They've been able to run and pass the ball well. Tigers offense, now the pressure is on them. The offensive line can't be making those holding penalties as they were last drive earlier in the first half as well. If they expect to stay alive, the penalties are going to need to be nipped in the bud, and Pearsall's just going to have to do what he does best, which is dishing the ball out and making something out of nothing.
So the early struggles for the Staley offense have seemingly wilted away. Dawson Parks leads them to another touchdown there. And Staley kicking unit will once again come out onto the field, 2nd time this half. 2:20 left in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers need to put a score up on the board in this drive to give themselves some hope and some momentum here going into the 4th quarter, which is where things tend to get a little bit hectic in all sports. So we'll see Braden Walker getting ready to kick once again. The Tigers have Manning and Morse in the backfield ready to return. It'll be Morse from about his own 12. He runs it out to the left-hand side. He's got space, and he gets some yards for the Tigers here as the ball will be moved all the way up to about the 24. So Nate Morse gives the Tigers better field position than the last drive. So if the penalties aren't there again for the Tigers, you might see a more fired up offense and more energized offense as they look to put points up on the board. 2:14 left in the 3rd quarter. Ball on the 28-yard line. It's Pearsall, lone man in the backfield. Several receiver options here as they start the drive. The snap, he looks out to his right-hand side. He finds Landon Shepard. He's got it, and he gets some extra yards while having his feet held onto, moving to the left-hand side of the field. So it's about a 5-yard gain there for Shepard.
Shepard looks a little shaken up on the play. He's still down, slow to get up as he now goes on. Referee giving him a look. He still has not got nothing to his feet yet. His teammates taking a kneel around him. Hopefully no injury is necessary, but we see the trainer come out onto the field. Never a good sign when you see that. Hopefully Shepard just shaking up a little. Nothing serious, we hope. We've already seen some star players for the Tiger. The field team, DK suffering an MCL sprain, had an MRI this afternoon. We'll get the results on that later in the week, but Shepard's still on the ground talking to his trainer right now. Tiger offense huddling up as they discuss their next play. Cannot be distracted by what's going on the field right now. But of course, everyone in the stands very concerned, hoping that the wide receiver for the Tigers isn't out for too long.
And as you said, injuries have been a problem for this Tigers team. Landon Shepard, in his sophomore season here, first year on varsity, been very consistent for the Tigers. So fingers crossed here that it's not an injury that'll keep him out for too long, and maybe hopefully even see him return as he's walking off the field on his own power. If you're just joining us here in the second half, Staley has put up 7 more points. 14-7 our score. They found themselves down 7-0 early in the ball game and have scratched their way back into this one. Even the score up and put themselves on top. 2:03 left in the third quarter. 2nd and 5. Pearsall in the backfield with Manning. 3 receivers out to Pearsall's left. Manning goes in motion out to the right. The snap, Pearsall looks to pass down to the left-hand side. It is Manning. He catches it, he's got first down and then some. Ball goes out of bounds at about the 43. Nice play by Manning to get that catch in traffic.
Manning showing his athleticism there, had to jump a little to catch that ball, and he did. Pearsall connected with him there to move the chains, and that's exactly what you want to see, even when your wide receiver goes out, to be able to move the chains through the air.
Pearsall with the high pass. Manning climbs the ladder to get there, and it's first down Tigers once again. Ball spotted on the 44-yard line. Pearsall waiting to receive orders from Eric Thomas on the sideline, the head coach of the Tigers. Done a great job to get them where they are to this point in the ball game. 1st and 10. Pearsall rolls out to his left-hand side. And a screen pass there looked like going to Manning is broken up. And Pearsall is hurt.
Helped up by his teammates. A little slow, but he's back onto the field. And it doesn't look like he's coming out, limping a little. Still in the game. And it looks like, yeah, he will stay on the field as he looks for the play call now from Coach Thomas.
We talked about how he's a dual threat option. The run maybe not going to be there as much for Pearsall. So hopefully the offensive line able to hold up. We did see Tommy Locke make his first varsity appearance last week, and he did a pretty good job. Pearsall stays on the field. Throws a pass over the middle. It looks like Shepard is back out onto the field, and he will have several yards. So Landon Shepard, after his injury, runs back out onto the field and picks up some more yards for the Tigers offense.
Always good to see when a wide receiver goes down, quickly back on the field. It's going to be a 3rd down and 1 for the Tigers. As a timeout is called, time to regroup, discuss the game plan. It looks like another Tiger has gone down. Not sure who that is.
Looks like junior Marion Thomas there is shaken up on the play. So 3 times we've seen a Tiger shaken up on a play. 3rd and 1 whenever we resume. And he will run out on his own power, so it's good to see that. Marion apparently not shaken up too badly on the play. Ball is on the 47-yard line, 1:30 left in this 3rd quarter.
So a 3rd and 1 gain should be fairly easy for the Tigers to pick up, as they have Mike Manning and Kaya Tapino as options. Kaya looking like he's going to be in the backfield right now. He's a big guy to bring down. They might go to him, but they also have several wide receivers out right and left.
Darius Pearsall in the backfield with Tapino. Tapino is not going to get the handoff. It's Pearsall taking it himself, and he's brought down in the backfield. Is he shaken up again? We saw him limping a couple of plays ago. He stayed out on the field. And on 4th and 6, Pearsall will have to run off the field regardless. So hopefully the injury isn't too big.
Hopefully not, but the kicking unit now. Kai Spino was in the backfield now. He's going to have to punt this one away. Hopefully a good one. Pin the Falcons back in their own 10, maybe 5, to give them a hard drive down the field.
David Brooks back ready to receive. The snap is low. Tapino gets it off. And it's a booming kick down inside the 5. And it's a beautiful punt from Tapino. but the Tigers are unable to stop it short of the goal line. That went right where it needed to, and the momentum from whoever jumped on that ball, they're not able to keep it within the goal line. So the drive will start on the 20 for the Staley Falcons.
Yeah, it's just a mistake there that shouldn't be made. That was a beautiful kick by Tapino, as it was going to be pinned inside the 5, but energies for the Tigers took them over the edge there. Didn't want to calm down, as they did have the time, but the Falcons are going to be able to set up shop here at the 20-yard line. We'll see what they can do. Their offense looked pretty dominant on their first drive. We'll see how they do running and passing the ball.
Hard to put on the jets there or put on the brakes there when you're running to that ball so quickly. The run will go up the middle for Staley, and another hard hit will bring down the ball carrier, Marshall. So about a 5-yard gain. Play clock running down inside 20 seconds. It's 14-7.
We talk about all the weapons the Tigers have on offense, but so far the Falcons have Marshall, as he's going to get the call here again, but go down quickly.
So the Tigers defense able to step up once again and stop the run this time. They did a great job of that in Belton, but they have struggled to this point to shut them down in the way that they have against Belton. So the Tigers defense runs out the clock here. Third quarter ends. It'll be 3rd and 4 on the other side of the field for Staley.
Not how you thought the first half was going to go for the second half was going to start for the Tigers, but
real quickly, we'll hear a word from our sponsors.
Gear up for back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back to the 3rd week of the 2019 high school football season. A tight game on our hands here in Lee Summit going into the 4th quarter. 14-7 the score. Staley on top in this one. Kyle, what have you seen in this one that has maybe surprised you to this point in the game?
well, what surprised me is that in the second half, the Tigers' offense just really hasn't been there. They've been hard to move the chains down the field, and they're going to definitely need to. Falcons, though, easily, they figured out what they needed to do in the run game. The defensive line just hasn't looked as dominant as they did the first half, but they're going to need to step it up as the 4th quarter is now here.
So the Falcons now finding the right mix of play call here in the 3rd quarter. We'll see how they carry it on in the 4th. 3rd and 4. Handoff goes up the middle. And breaking free and finally tripped up by the final man is Marshall. So just about breaking free there for a huge run is Marshall.
Yeah, that's really a mistake for the Tigers that shouldn't happen. A lot of guys were able to get on him, but none able to bring him down. LaJuan Miller, thank goodness, because if he did not, only Greenfield ahead of him, that would have been a surefire touchdown, as the Staley Loud crowd's now into it with a new set of downs.
1st and 10. Handoff again, going to the outside. The Tigers struggling to chase him down and finally tackling him and pushing him out of bounds after about a 7-yard gain. Again, it's Marshall. So the 2 running backs for Staley in this one have been Mitchell and Marshall. Both have had a big impact on this game. Both have played very well for their team, giving them yards when they need it.
You know, we talk about how many options the Tigers offense have, but with Marshall and Milan, they've been able to be so dominant in the run game, and in the pass game they haven't been too bad.
So the handoff again here goes to a different running back this time. So Staley, as we said, finding a little bit of variety. Fabian McLeod with the carry there gets the 1st down again for Staley.
Staley's Loud crowd now getting into it as they shout 1st down. A new set of downs to work with, almost breaking the 50-yard line, placed on the 49-yard line. 1st down and 10 yards to go. We'll see what they have here. They haven't been passing the ball too much this second half as they've been relying on the run game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see an air raid from Dawson here.
1st and 10, ball on the 49-yard line. Staley hands it off once again, and a fumble! But Staley jumps on it immediately.
covered by Staley. It brings up second down.
So it looked like just a miscommunication there on the handoff. And it looked like Mitchell jumping on the fumble almost immediately. So the ball drops on the ground and he jumps on it without any hesitation. 2nd and 15 coming up. 10:30 left in the fourth quarter. Parks needs a big play here if he's going to have any hopes of moving the chains for Staley. The Falcons offense has looked dangerous here in the second half, the only team to score so far. Parks drops back, looks to pass. He's got a man right over the middle. It looks like Marshall. Marshall's running it down the left-hand side, and we said they needed a big gain. They get it here. About a 12-yard gain from Marshall.
The second half would be a very different story for the Falcons if they had recovered 3 of their fumble recoveries. Lucky for them, they now have a short 3rd and 3. Max Weisner almost had the tackle there, but just slipped away from him. As it looks, Marshall is going to be in the backfield with, of course, Dawson Parks out to snap the ball.
9:35 left now in the fourth quarter. Staley doing a good job running down the clock. It's Parks in the backfield. Looking for direction over on his sideline. We've not only seen running backs have a big impact, a timeout will be called here. And it's not been the first time that we've seen a timeout called by Staley in a panic situation where it looks like they're just off cue on the offensive side of the football. 9:20 left here. Kyle, do you think the Tigers have it in them to come back, or are we looking at a repeat of Liberty in week 1 in which they fell to a very close game?
You know, I would say it would be a repeat, but the difference here is that the offense got hot in the fourth quarter during Liberty, but so far the offense has been frozen during the fourth here. It was hot in the first quarter, but it steamed off as the Falcons seem to have a response for their defensive line. Something that has surprised me, though, in the second half, the defensive line for the Tigers has just not been what it used to be, and it's given them the run game, which is opening up a lot for the Falcons' offenses. They face a short 3rd and 3 here. The Tigers are definitely going to want to get their offense going like Staley has here if they expect to get 1 touchdown to tie and 2 to score.
Well, previously it was the penalties that have been hurting the Tigers the most on the offensive side of the football. But we've seen 3 Tigers get injured on their previous drive. So it'll be interesting to see if they're back and ready to go by the time the Tigers get their hands on the football next. Both sides of the field now getting into the game. The student sections are lighting up. Parks in the backfield. He's going to hand it off. It'll be Marshall up the middle. Did he get the first? He's still fighting for it. Dives, and it looks like he's just short. So 4th and inches.
With the way the running game has been for the Falcons so far, I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it. Not a whole lot of risk, because if they do turn the ball over, the Tigers would still have 60 yards to go. Timeout for the officials to bring the chains out and see if it really is 4th down. They could have gotten a new set of downs, but we don't know, as Staley frantically hurries their guys over to their side of the ball so they can discuss the game plan on this 4th and short.
And it's interesting there, before the officials called time to check the yardage, it looked like Staley brought Dawson Parks out of the game, which is interesting only because he's their punter and their quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see maybe if they go for a wildcat option or try to do something different in terms of the quarterback or punter position.
You saw the ref there out in the middle. He said it was short just by a couple of inches, so Staley does not have far to move the ball right now, but it is 4th down. Jordan, you mentioned that it was weird that they took Dawson Parks out of the game. It'll be interesting to see if they take him back in, because whether punt, pass, or run, you'd think they'd have him out there on the field to hand off, pass, or do whatever.
It is interesting. It looks like his replacement will be Nick Wright. So he'll come out onto the field here. And it will be an interesting sort of setup here. It'll just be Shelton. He's hit hard by Garozzo, but he breaks free to the right-hand side. 10-5 and touchdown. Michael Garozzo nearly breaks him down in the backfield, and Shelton in the Wildcat breaks free for a huge touchdown. And the Staley Falcons have increased their lead now in the 4th.
I'm not saying a comeback at this point is impossible for the Tigers, because anything is, but it's definitely making it harder on themselves. They now have to score 2 touchdowns and We'll see if 2-point extra attempts after this one here, but Michael Groza almost had him for a 3-yard loss. Unfortunately, Shelton was able to break free and score that touchdown.
So again, the PAT unit back on the field. The kick is up, and it is good. So 21-7 now our score. Michael Garozzo just falling short of a superhero-like tackle, and Staley breaks free for a huge running gain and a touchdown in the Wildcat formation. We've mentioned the speed of Shelton earlier this game, and in the Wildcat there, he shows us once again that he's got jets and he's not afraid to use them. Breaks free from Garozzo's tackle, and it was smooth sailing from that point on. 8:44 left in the fourth quarter. 21-7 our score. Staley has fought back and put themselves in a huge lead in the fourth quarter.
You know, there's a reason that Shelton averages about 16.6 passes per game, as those yards add up. It's definitely a big part of the success, getting that touchdown there, catching his first one to put them up 14 now as they're up 21-7.
So the Tigers are ready to return another kick. The second half has been less than stellar. We'll see if the offense can go ahead and get a quick score and hopefully leave it in the defense's hands once again to keep Staley off of the scoreboard. Micah Manning and Nate Morse back to return. It will be Manning. It takes a short hop. He'll pick it up at about the 15-yard line. He's got space on the right-hand side, cuts it back to the middle, and he's finally brought down at the 30-yard line. So not much to do with that return, but with what he had given in front of him, he's able to get a lot of yards and put the Tigers in a decent spot here to start their next drive.
Definitely, if you're the Tigers offense, you're going to want to come out swinging with pass as galore, as they have so many options in that aspect of the game. They just haven't really been able to get the offense moving at all. Those penalties, especially offensive line holding, hopefully they can nip those in the bud, as they have Ryan Belt out to the left, see what he's going to be able to do on this play.
So Pearsall, despite the injury in the previous drive, still out on the field. He's got Micah Manning in the backfield for him. Pearsall looks to pass here early. It's Ryan Belt. He's being held on, and he makes the grab in traffic. So a great job by Ryan Belt there. His senior season has been great for the Tigers. And in traffic there, gets the ball all the way up to the 49-yard line of Staley.
Jalen Newberry could have easily been called for a pass interference there. But Ryan Bell able to hold on, get those 2 feet in, get that crucial first down for the Tigers.
Pearsall, the lone man in the backfield, looks to pass over to the right-hand side. It's caught by the Tigers. It looks like Landon Shepard that time. We mentioned his consistency earlier. Rather, a new name for the Tigers. Jacob Moracek comes on as a wide receiver there and makes the grab. Pearsall again, the lone man in the backfield. 2nd and 5, the hurry-up offense in full effect here. A pass over the middle is dropped on a diving effort by Nate Morse. Nate's given it his all tonight, and even on plays that he's unable to convert, he still lets you know that he's working very hard out on that football field.
It's a 3rd and 5 for the Tigers. The offensive game has been able to get the passing game going, which is very crucial, as Pearsall looks to be alone in the backfield. Definitely a pass with his trips out to his left.
Pearsall steps back. He's going to have to run it himself. Looking like he's not hurt at all. He breaks free again and gets the ball to the 30-yard line. So the chain's moving again for the Tigers. The hurry-up offense still in effect here. Pearsall shakes off the injury from the last drive, and it's a first down again for the Tigers. We mentioned they'd need to be quick. They're being quick about it. So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Ball on the 30-yard line. Pearsall steps back to pass once again, looks over to the right-hand side, and a diving effort from the Tigers, but it falls incomplete.
It was a great play by Darius Pearsall to extend the drive. If he hadn't have gotten that first yard pickup, they definitely would have had to go for it on first downs, and if they didn't convert there, I don't want to say the game would have totally gone to the Falcons, but it would have been very difficult for the Tigers to come back as they have a 2nd and 10 here with Manning in the backfield, Pearsall taking the snap.
Pearsall and Manning in the backfield, 7:45 to play. Soft pass to Manning on the screen play, and he's going to get the ball to the 34. So another gain for the Tigers. It'll be about 3rd and 6. The offense isn't wasting any time. They're still marching the ball up the field. And with 7:30 left to go, the 21-7 deficit doesn't look impossible with the way they're moving the chains here. 3rd and 6. Pearsall will once again be the lone man in the backfield. 5 wide receiver options for him as we look to set up the play. Pearsall looks over to his left. He passes to Micah again in traffic. It's caught, but he's brought down immediately. So a nice play there from Staley to block that one up right as it started.
Definitely going to be interesting to see the play called down on fourth quarter. Darius in the offense obviously staying out. He's awaiting the play call as they're on the left hash, the side of the field. There's going to be 6:44 left in this fourth quarter, almost halfway through it. But Darius is going to be making quick work as he marches down the field. Less than 2 minutes. We'll see what the play call is here.
4th and 6, a crucial opportunity for the Tigers. They need to convert here, or the hopes for this one being come back are very bleak. A pass over the middle, his receiver's not even looking. A miscommunication from the Tigers and a turnover on downs. So the ball will be on the Staley 24 as they get the ball once again. 21-7 the score. 6:24 left on the play clock in the fourth quarter. Things looking bleak for the Tigers, but it's not over just yet. Still plenty of time for defensive stop. We mentioned the defensive touchdowns last week. They caused several turnovers. We'll see if they're able to do it again when it really matters.
Yeah, in the third quarter alone, they had 3 fumbles caused. Unfortunately, they were all returned by the Falcons. So we'll see if the Tigers are able to get something going here. As we're going to definitely need to create some turnovers. They're now facing a 14 lead deficit with only 6 minutes to go in the fourth.
Some of those fumbles were Staley causing themselves error. Miscommunication on a couple of handoffs, but they were to recover all of them. So once again, we'll see Parks handed the keys. The handoff will go to Marshall. He goes up the middle. He breaks a couple of tackles, and he dives forward for a first down.
Early on in the game, the defensive line for the Tigers looked almost impenetrable, but now timeout taken by the Tigers. They're definitely going to need to figure this out. They just can't let Staley just keep letting time tick off the clock as 6:17's left to go. Big timeout. Staley almost took their timeout, so it's 2-2, even for Tigers and Staley.
We mentioned at the end of the first half how crucial it is to manage your timeouts well. Staley has done a good job of that here in the second half, so have the Tigers. They still find themselves with 3. They take one here to regroup. They'll stop the clock. We'll likely see an onslaught of runs as Staley wants to keep the clock moving here as the game winds down. As Kyle said, only 6:17 remaining. 21-7 is our score. Ball on the 34-yard line for Staley. It'll be 2nd and inches. The Tiger defense needs a stop here if they want to try to keep the hopes alive for a comeback in this one. The first half ended 7-7. The Tigers were the first one to notch points on the board. And in this second half, Staley has looked dominant, putting up 14 unanswered, and they're running away with it here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Staley has been the better team. Remember, just a couple years ago, they were the team to win state for the Class 6, so no surprise that they still have a great team and great coaching staff, but Tigers put up their best fight in the first half. It looks like they've fallen a little. Definitely regrouping here, needing the right play call if they expect to stop the Falcons, who appears have just barely inches to go on their second down before they receive a new set of downs and more time available to be ticked off the clock. That running game has just been there for the Falcons. Passing not so much, but they have been able to use Damone Shelton late in the game as he not only ran for a touchdown to make it 21-7, but also caught one to make it 14-7.
Damone Shelton, the last one to score for Staley. In the Wildcat formation, he took it as a quarterback and ran for about 40 yards and a touchdown. Fake handoff here from Parks. He scans the field, looks over to the right-hand side. It will be Shelton that's targeted, and Thomas Smith can't catch him. Again, Shelton, we just mentioned his name. He's going to put another touchdown on the board. It's 29-7. The Tigers are falling in this one. 6 minutes and 8 seconds left in the game. The comeback isn't impossible, but Staley is showing why they have been a championship-like team in the past, and they are proving it again tonight, as the PAT unit will once again have a chance to come out onto the field. The Staley offense has been relentless. Dawson Parks so far, perfect on his PAT attempts. We'll see how he answers the call here. The snap, and it is good. Splits the uprights. So 28-7 will be our score as Staley's lead is once again increased.
Yeah, it looks like the line and just the entire defense for the Tigers have fallen off, allowing 21 points in the second half alone. This is not the situation you want to be in. Thomas Smith was just a step too late for the Tigers, and they'll allow 7 more to go for the Staley Falcons. We'll see how the Tigers offense reacts, as Darius Pierce obviously going to be hungry. This is a game when they remember their former coach, Coach Wilkerson, who died just a couple years ago. Everyone fighting with grit and determination, proving to themselves and him why he impacted them so much, and hopefully the offense can come out here and prove why they're a dominant team.
As Kyle said, an emotional night for the Tigers offense. They've been unable to score here in the second half. They find themselves down 21 points with only 6 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. It's going to be very tough to complete a comeback at this point. As we said, it's not impossible, but things don't look as good as they did earlier. And if the Tigers just let that one go, it's going to be even extra yards there, but Shepard grabs it as he runs out of bounds. If Shepard lets that ball go, the ball is at the 40 instead of the 36. But the Tigers will set things up on the Staley 36-yard line.
Good call by Trent to just get the ball and go outside. No need to waste a lot of time for just a couple yards. That was a good move by him. The offense now taking the field. Going to need to be perfect here in their next few drives if they want to execute comeback against the Falcons.
We saw them march down the field with ease in their last drive, doing it very quickly. Micah Manning starts things off with a run to the right-hand side, but quickly the Staley defense catches up with him, and it's going to be a big loss to start the drive. Staley has risen to the occasion here in the second half, and despite the great effort from the Tigers, they still find themselves scoreless here in the second half. 5:40 left on the play clock. The clock is still running. Darius Pearsall and Manning in the backfield still. 2nd and 13. 28-7 our score. Pearsall in the backfield, looks to pass. He feels the pressure. He tries to roll out to his right. He heaves it way downfield, but over his intended target. It looked like Shepard downfield, and so we'll replay at the 3rd and 13.
This is going to be a big pickup. If they don't complete this one, it's going to be dang near impossible. 5:21 left on the clock. Pearsall has had some success in the air raid earlier in the game, but not much now. He definitely have some weapons as Nate Morris and Ryan line up to his left, along with number 14, Jacob Maracek.
5:20 left now on the clock. Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. You see the Tigers running the shotgun formation a lot. They'll do it again here. Pearsall in the backfield, looks to throw it over the middle. It's caught, and the Tigers will gain some extra yards here, but still not a first down. It's Landon Shepard. He's been consistent all night. He's there once again, but it's 4th down for the Tigers.
Good pickup of downs, but they still need the first down. 4th and 1. It's going to be so easy, but you can't underestimate these.
4th and 1. It sounds easy, but it still is difficult to convert. Pearsall in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Manning. He's going to try to cut it up the middle, and it's cut out once again. So the play call there from Coach Thomas, it's not a bad play call, but Manning just doesn't have it in him to get the first down. And once again, we'll see the Tigers offense run off the field empty-handed here in the second half. You hear chants of "This is our house" from the Staley student section. They have come out in large numbers despite the long drive, and they have been willing their team on to now a 28-7 lead. 4:41 left in the fourth quarter.
That's right, just a couple minutes left. The Falcons have really come out here. Their game plan has worked so far this second half. They've been able to get 3 touchdowns up on the board. They might make it a 4th, who knows. Tiger defense trying to ignite what they had in the first quarter to keep it only a 3-touchdown lead for the Falcons.
So another run up the middle this time for Staley. It'll be Mylan Mitchell. We've called his name several times tonight. He's had a solid year, but the Tigers find themselves down 21 points so far in this ball game. Mylan Mitchell, one of the biggest runners for the Staley offense, 78 yards coming into this game. He's tacked on a lot more as this one has lived on. Parks will sit there with his offense, letting the clock run down. No need to call a play if you've got the lead and the clock is running. 4 minutes left now on our scoreboard. Again, it'll be Mitchell to the right-hand side. He breaks free. Shepard, and it looks like Landon Willis tried to strip him of it. Mitchell shrugs him off and gets the ball all the way down inside the 10. So with 3:49, the clock will be stopped as he's forced out of bounds, but it still looks bleak for this Tigers defense.
They just haven't been able to get the pressure off the edge as they did in the first quarter and the second. So far, Dawson Parks and Mylan Mitchell, I mean, you're talking about an unstoppable run game. This is it right here. They've been doing a fantastic job of getting the ball down the field and moving the chains.
Once again, Parks in the shotgun formation. He's got a man behind him. It's Mitchell. The snap. The handoff will go to Mitchell. He tries to get it up the middle. Several Tigers all around him, and they take a little while to bring him down. We kind of lost Mitchell there in the crowd, but he gets the ball inside the 5. So now with 3:14, the clock can continue to run, and Staley once again knocking on the Tigers' door, looking to score a touchdown. So 2nd and goal for Staley. Staying with the same offensive unit. Why switch it out if it has been working? Mitchell still the running back. They've got several options at that position. Mitchell's been effective in this half and in this entire game, and they'll stick with him. Parks in the shotgun. Another handoff to Mitchell. He tries to break through the middle, and this time the Tigers are able to knot him up and bring him down without a touchdown being scored.
That's the type of defensive line you want to see. That's what we had in the first quarter. Unfortunately, it's not able to be replicated in the second half. Cayet's Pino, good effort by him to bring him down short of the goal line, trying to keep them out of the end zone for basically pride at this point, but also to show them that this is not their house indeed.
28-7 our score, 2:10 left on the clock. Ball spotted on the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal. The Staley offense has been electric here in the second half, and now even in time when they have a big lead, they don't need to score more. They are still looking hungry and like they want to score on this Tigers defense. It'll be Parks again in the shotgun. A handoff goes to Mitchell, and this time the Tigers are in the backfield once again. Cayetapino on the tackle for the second play in a row, not allowing it up the middle these last 2 plays.
Great effort by Cayetapino to not allow it up the middle, but looks like the offense is going to stay on there. Their coach fairly confident that they can break the chains here and put it in the end zone, as they've have a reason to be confident during the second half, being so dominant in that run game. Mylan Mitchell looked like he's going to stay out there, probably going to be the one receiving that play call. Dawson Parks still waiting as the line kind of stands there in anticipation. Time just ticks off the clock. You hate to see it if you're the Tigers, but this is the way the game's gone, and Staley's controlled them so far.
A minute left on the clock. A timeout now called by the Falcons. 4th down. Ball on the 7-yard line, 28-7, the score as the clock winds down. Kyle, what have we not seen out of this Tigers team in the second half that's allowed Staley to run away with things here?
You know, I know the secondary hasn't done a terrible job, but that defensive line just hasn't been the same in the first half. I mean, only allowing 7 points in hardly any rushing game, but then the Falcons switched it up. They put Mylan Mitchell in the backfield, and he has been tearing up. They've been giving Marshall a fair share of snaps in the second half as well. Tigers just haven't had an offense either. Scored 7 in the first half, and it remains 7 as there's 1:01 to go in the 4th quarter.
We've not seen the Tigers' offense completely die out. They've still gotten yardage, but they've just been unable to convert when it really mattered. A couple of turnover on downs here late in the game, taking risks. A couple of conversions on 4th down, but just unable to finish this one off. Once again, we'll see the Staley field goal unit come out, this time for their first field goal of the game. It'll be Braden Walker. The kick is up, and it is good. So the lead now extended to 31-7. 58 seconds left. The clock has stopped, and we'll see another kickoff from Staley.
Jordan, I don't know about you, but I don't think the score is reflective of how the game has gone so far. I mean, 31-7 seems like the Falcons have dominated, but the Tigers, if not for some penalties, should have gotten some more points up there, but so far shut out this second half. It's been really closer than it has been, but Staley just recently in this fourth quarter really taken it to new heights and have such a dominant lead over the Tigers.
We've seen injuries hurt the Tigers here in the second half. Penalties have been an issue for both teams. It's not just been the Tigers getting hurt by those as well, but here in the second half, the Tigers have just not been able to convert whenever they get the ball close to the end zone, whereas Staley has seemingly scored every time they've gotten the ball in the Tigers' half of the 50. So we'll once again see the Tigers back ready to return. It'll be Nate Morse and Micah Manning back. And once again, Staley getting ready to kick it off. Walker boots it downfield, and that one will go out of bounds. So a flag down, and the Tigers' drive will start at the 40-yard line.
It's ironic that the last drive for the Tigers will inevitably start with a penalty because that seems to have how the second half has gone so far. We'll see what Coach Thomas planned here, maybe just to take a couple rushing games and let the time expire, even though they do have 2 timeouts. Not a lot of energy coming from the loud crowd for the Tigers. They're still here, but their spirits have dwindled.
The student section for the Tigers has not faded at one point in this ball game. The bright neon shirts, the theme for tonight's ball game. As always, they've been enthusiastic and with their team through the very end, still making noise over there, but everyone in this stadium knows there is no comeback in store at this point in the ball game. 31-7 our score. Referees now blowing their whistles. Tigers waiting patiently, looking to set up the offense for one final drive. It's Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. The Tigers tonight, the scoreboard maybe not reflective of their performance. They just haven't been able to finish whenever it's been clutch time for the Tigers. And only able to put up 7 points in this ball game thanks to a score in the first half. Pearsall takes the snap, looks to throw over to the left-hand side. It's Ryan Belt. He's got some yardage now over the middle of the field and brought down after about a 4-yard gain.
Would have got nothing there if not for that spin move. Ryan almost tripped up on the play, but able to turn it, what would have been a 0-yard gain to a 5-yard gain. It's about those small victories now, about that silver lining during a storm, and time's just going to tick down to 32 seconds, approaching 30.
So the Tigers now, Pearsall and Manning in the backfield. Morse in motion. It's going to be a jet sweep for Morse. He's got the speed. He moves out to the right-hand side of the field. He's got the first down and then some. He's still moving on the right-hand side of the field. He'll get it across the 50 and all the way inside the Staley 40-yard line.
Time is stopped here at 15-1. Darius waiting. The call is Micah Manning's going to be in the backfield with number 14, Jacob Moranchek, lined up to his left along with Nate Morse.
15 seconds left in this ball game. Clock is stopped as Morse was forced out of bounds on the last play. Pearsall hands it off. No, keeps it himself. Moves out to the left-hand side. Now throws it to Morse on the left-hand side of the field. He's got some space and some time to run with it, and he's finally brought down at about the 14-yard line. So a play we haven't seen tonight, a fake handoff. Pearsall looks to run it himself, throws it to Morse, and that'll be the final play of the ball game. 31-7 our score. We'll take a quick break till we hear from our sponsors once more. 31-7. We'll see you in just a minute.
When it comes to SUVs, nothing beats Honda. U.S. News & World Report's best SUV brand 4 years in a row, including the 2019 Honda Pilot, one of the millions of Hondas built here in America since 1982. Or the 2019 CR-V, a crossover car and driver calls a better value than the RAV4. And right now, get Pilot with 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers. For more offers, visit kchondadealers.com today.
Today is a new day. A day we've been waiting for our whole lives. We've put in the work to get to this moment, to have this opportunity to come together as a team. Everyone knows KC is on the rise, but what they don't know is we're just getting started.
Community America, powering the rise of Kansas City.
Core Civic is proud to support Lansing Athletics. Core Civic is America's leader in partnership corrections, operating over 60 facilities in nearly half of all states. Learn more about Core Civic job opportunities at corecivic.com. You can apply for a rewarding position as a correctional officer, a nurse, or a school teacher, just to name a few. Your next career could be in corrections with Core Civic. Visit corecivic.com. That's corecivic.com.
Gear up for back to sport at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back now to Bud Herzog Stadium. Week 3 of high school football just now wrapping up as the Staley Falcons are able to defeat the Lee Summit Tigers 31-7. It's been a game that's kind of seen it all. A lot of penalties, some injuries, some scares for the Tigers. We saw them inevitably fall in this ball game. Kyle, what did you see in this one that you hope that you don't see here in weeks to come from this Tigers team?
You know, it's Friday the 13th, and so I think it's only fitting that I said it's kind of scary what the Tigers did the second half. Absolutely no halftime adjustments. I mean, the Staley Falcons were able to adjust at halftime, put in Mylon Mitchell, which would give them an insane running game, and without Felix there on the defensive line, you could really tell the impact he has, just not being able to make those stops. And it's unfortunate, Jordan, but I'll tell you this, the Tigers sure do know how to rebound after a disappointing loss on senior night to Liberty. They came out and destroyed Belton, so I wouldn't say this is the end. It's just another disappointing loss for the Tigers, but they'll be back and they'll be out ready for some more action next week.
The Tigers' defensive side of things, as you said, has taken a couple of hits in terms of injury. The players, for the most part, have stepped up, but in the second half in this one, they just fall short. The effort was still there. They still made plays, but Liberty's offense, or Staley's offense, rather, was just too strong in the second half for the Tigers as they managed to put up a solid 24 points. 3 touchdowns and a field goal was the final tally. Staley's offense was big, but perhaps the defense came through even bigger for Staley, as the Tigers' offense was sort of stifled at times, looked confused. The plays were still there. They still had big yards, but they fell short when it came time to convert for touchdowns, field goals, otherwise. And if they are able to keep up that high output of points, I think we see a closer game and maybe even a Tiger victory tonight.
Absolutely. If they were able to make this halftime adjustments and get the offense really going in the second half, I would expect to have seen a Tiger comeback, but unfortunately they didn't, and 31-7's the score. It's a little disappointing, but I mean, you got to give props to Staley and Damone Shelton and the weapons they had, they used so effectively. I mean, on that fake punt to get the touchdown where Michael Grozo almost had him backed up 3 yards. You know, just a couple miscues, a couple penalties. That's the result you're going to get if you're the Tigers. Just got to go watch some film, be prepared for next week.
Hopefully they all rest up well, get rid of those injury scares that we saw in the second half, and come out next week and get a win and bounce back as they did in week 2. The Tigers fall to 1-2. The Staley Falcons improved to 3-0. It was a close game tonight. Signing out for Tiger Broadcast, I'm Jordan Wood, joined by Kyle Cumberland and Josh Walker in the booth. As always, we'll see you next time.